looking to maintain the hot streak. STFC looks to move to the Western Conference semifinals at Snapdragon Stadium versus Portland.
The chance for Manu to crack! Oh, hits the post! Another chance.
And we continue to react to the Padres' new manager. Now live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios. Now let's have some fun with John and Jim.
What's going on, San Diego? John and Jim on a Friday. John's on his way to Hawaii. Must be nice. So just a solo show today. Me and Brent holding down the fort for you. Busy weekend, busy show. We have a lot of stuff to get to today. We also are going to be announcing our grand prize winner for the STFC tickets to Game 3 on Sunday night at Snapdragon Stadium. The club announced today that is officially a sellout. So you're going to want these tickets. We're going to announce the winner later in today's show. Greg Camarillo, our NFL insider, is going to join us at 4:30. Andy Halbrun of the UT is going to join me at 5 as well to talk about the Craig Stammen hire. Get to the wrap, get to the back page, all of that. But we start today with more reaction to Craig Stammen being the new Padres manager. The other day when I fully had this thing to digest around 5 o'clock-ish or so, it was a pretty busy show yesterday. So we didn't get to dive too deep into Craig Stammen being hired as the new Padres manager. But the more that I thought about it and the more that it digested, I still feel the same way as I do yesterday. And I've seen the takes out there of, this is the worst hire in the world. The Padres embarrassed themselves. I can't believe they did this. There's a part of me that feels that way. But there's also a part of me that if I were to express those things and if I truly, wanted to feel that way, or I said that, hey, this is the worst hiring you could possibly imagine. I can't believe the Padres did this. What are they thinking? This is going to be an absolute train wreck. This is a joke. In reality, we just have no idea. We have no idea. There are things about it that I like, and there's things about it that I don't like. Yes, if I didn't cover the Padres as closely as I have, would I know the name Craig Stammen? No, of course not. Do you think Baltimore Oriole fans know Craig Stammen? Maybe because no, they wouldn't. Do you think Seattle Mariners fans know who Craig Stammen is? No, of course not. So because, I'm so close to this and because obviously all Padres fans are listening right now, yes, the name Craig Stammen, it's a familiar name. It's not a Jace Tingler hire. It is not a, who the hell is that guy? Should we concern ourselves with what Seattle Mariners fans think? Should we concern ourselves with what Baltimore Orioles fans think? No. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat this hiring, but I also am going to try to take it to a place of being realistic where it could blow up in their face. It could be awful. This could be a Jace Tingler 2.0 situation. 100%. But none of us know that. None of us will know that until probably this time next year. It is a lot going in the way of Craig Stammen succeeding right away because this is unprecedented. This is a situation where, look, I asked ChatGPT the other night when we were doing the wrap-up show, and I also looked it up. Brent, do you know how many first-time managers with zero coaching experience, zero managerial experience, went on to win a World Series in their first year as a manager in baseball history? How many do you think have done that in the history of the sport?
Probably zero.
Zero is correct. There have been zero first-time managers with zero managerial experience or coaching experience at any level through the minors and in the majors to ever go on to win a World Series in their first year as a manager. That's going against Craig Stammen, right? That is something that, look, for nobody to ever accomplish that, and now you're asking for Craig Stammen to accomplish that, and good luck. First-time manager, no experience at any level, and you are in a window of your franchise where you're expecting to go out and win a World Series next year. Not in like 3 years, but like next year. There have been managers to win a World Series in their first year as rookie managers. Alex Cora with the Red Sox. Bob Brenly all the way back in 2001 with the Diamondbacks. You also have, let me just look this up here because I have the list. Yeah, Alex Cora. Ralph Hoke. You remember Ralph Hoke, Brent?
No.
Of the 1961 New York Yankees?
No.
So you have Bob Brenly, Ralph Hoke, and Alex Cora. Those are the three managers with no prior major league managerial experience to win a World Series in their first year. Now, they did have coaching experience, like bench coach, but they have never been a manager of a team. Alex Cora, he was a bench coach with the Astros in 2017, won in his first year with the Red Sox in 2018 over the Doyers, but he was a bench coach with the Astros. In 2017, we all know like how Alex Cora is tied to the Astros because of the trash can scandal. Ralph Hoke, I mean, we all know Ralph Hoke, right? He did win a World Series in his first year, but he had managed in the minor leagues. And then everybody's favorite in San Diego, not really, we don't like him, Bob Brenly. Won a World Series famously in 2001. We all remember Bob Brenly and those Diamondbacks, Luis Gonzalez, game-winning hit off Mariano Rivera in Game 7. Won a World Series in year one, but he did manage before, and he had been a major league coach for several years. Excuse me. Okay. So that's the list. Can Craig Stammen buck that trend? Can Craig Stammen come in here and say, look, I know I've never coached ever, and I know that I'm a first-time manager, but guess what? We're going to win the World Series next year. Because that's what they're going to be saying on Monday at 10 a.m. during this press conference. We are going to strive to win our first World Series championship in franchise history. Because that propaganda will be coming out of their mouths on Monday morning. So that's what's going against Craig Stammen. Just like looking at this historically, right? That's what's going against Craig Stammen. So if you want to be negative about this hire and you want to use that along with, hey, why didn't they go with Albert Pujols, or why didn't they go with somebody that maybe be better qualified? Sure, if you want to be negative about this hire, I'm not stopping you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be negative, but I'm also looking at it from both sides here. So there's the negative aspect of it. The positive aspect of it is with the departure of Mike Shildt, him quitting on this team in the fashion that he did, listening to Joe Musgrove speak about Mike Shildt departing the Padres, saying he did not like how Mike Shildt left the team, which it's not just Joe that felt that, is my guess. To go and have another manager, third in what, 5 years? So it's 2022, 2024, and now 2025.
It's easy to do the math because it's just
yeah.
no. Well, because it's 2 and 2 and 3. Because only one of them made it past 2 years. Remember?
Exactly. So now, when you look at this organization, you look at this clubhouse, and you look at where this team's at, this team needs some sort of continuity to hit the ground running. So here's my positive angle for this. And we'll get into more of this coming up here throughout the show as well. He knows how this organization is run. He knows AJ Preller and has worked close with AJ Preller. He knows the clubhouse. He's been with the Padres for damn near almost a decade now. Yes, he's been behind the scenes, but he has the respect of the clubhouse already, right? He already has that. Ruben Niebla is returning. Another positive I link to this. You know, if you're out there and saying, they should have just hired Ruben Niebla as their manager. Okay, but guess what? I don't care because he's still with the organization. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he was the manager to me or returning as the pitching coach. The only thing I cared about was that Ruben Niebla was going to stay with his organization in that dugout. So Ruben Niebla stays. If Ruben Niebla left, if we found out yesterday they hired Craig Stammen and Ruben Niebla took a job with, I don't know, like the Mets or something, then I would feel much differently about this hire. I would probably lean towards this is a disaster, to be honest with you. But because of that, I can't. I could see both sides. I could see how this can be a disaster. Oh, believe me, I could absolutely see how this could be an absolute disaster. But I could also see how it could kind of work and how the transition from Schilt to Craig will be, I think, as seamless as it could get. You know, if you bring in Albert Pujols, again, I was a proponent of bringing in Albert Pujols. I wanted Albert Pujols here. I thought a culture change. I thought bringing someone outside the organization. I thought the stature of Albert Pujols, somebody that wants to manage, has the respect of Manny and Tatis. Because let's be real, those are the two most important players on this team. And if those two guys aren't bought in, don't perform, you got no shot. And I thought that Albert Pujols would help elevate and bring Tatis closer to back closer to what he was. Maybe not fully there, because I don't think Tatis will ever be that player offensively ever again because of steroids and his shoulder surgeries and wrist surgeries and all that and his injuries. I mean, he's an old 27-year-old. But I thought that Albert Pujols would at least be a guy to elevate that. Now, the thing with Albert Pujols is what Craig Stammen has now, Albert Pujols wouldn't have, which is knows the organization, continuity, knows the clubhouse, knows how to work with AJ, all of that. So when you look at Craig, I kind of look, okay, there's positives in here. Now, if you want to say those positives don't outweigh the negatives, again, I'm not going to stop you from not liking this hire. I'll just say, I want to see it first. I want to see how it plays out. I want to see how it works. It's hard for me to say it's the worst thing ever right away before even seeing how it pans out. So we'll talk about that more throughout the show. Also, I want to get to some top free agents on the market. There's a couple Japan-based players that have entered the free agent market. You know, what do me and John love to do? We love to talk about free agents. We love to talk about postings, and we will talk about a certain player for months on end. There might be a player out there that potentially could be a really good fit with the Padres. But again, it comes down to money. We'll talk about that. Also, we'll bring back some interviews. If you missed it throughout the week, Rob Orich, Aztecs defensive coordinator. You're going to hear that interview as the Aztecs have a big game tomorrow night against Hawaii. So you're going to hear that later this hour. And also, we are announcing today who won the SDFC tickets for Sunday night's Game 3 match between the Portland Timbers. All that coming up on today's show right here on John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, make sure to catch the Sean Lewis Coaches Show tonight at 6 p.m. John and Rich sit down with the Aztecs head coach to preview tomorrow's game at Hawaii and more. The Sean Lewis Coaches Show tonight at 6 p.m. on your home for the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. So I've been getting a lot of comments like this when it comes to, the hiring of Craig Stammen. Like, this is the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. They went cheap and wanted a yes man. This is like Jerry Jones coaching hire. That's from James on social media. Okay, I understand. I don't think I'm going to argue fans having that type of reaction, because a part of me has that type of reaction too. A part of me does sit here and say, of course they did. Of course they went the cheap route. Of course they went for the guy that was already inside the organization. Of course they went for the yes man. Of course they did that. But that's saying it without knowing what's going to happen. It's like if there's a movie out there and before you watch any trailer, before you watch the movie, you're just like, this movie sucks. I hate this movie. This movie is stupid. I can't believe they had this movie. Did you watch the movie? No, it's just, I think it sucks. Well, you got to watch the movie first. Now, granted, there are a lot of movies out there that I don't need to watch the trailer and I don't need to watch the movie, and I already know it does suck. But there are also movies out there that are the complete opposite, that I think suck, that look awful, and I watch it, and they turn out to be great. I don't know if Craig Stammen's going to be one of those types of movies that looks bad on first glance, but then you watch it and it turns out to be a really, really good movie. It could be the complete, right thing to think that. We could all think this is going to be a disaster. I can't believe it. And it turns out to be a disaster. But how do you know until you watch the movie? How do you know? What, are you just going to not root for Craig Stammen and the Padres next year because you want to be right in your take right now, 24 hours after they hired Craig Stammen, because you hate it? And if you don't like it, don't like it. But what I'm telling you is, you got to give it a chance. Like, you have to give it a chance. There's no other choice here. We have no other choice but to go into next year watching a Padres team led by Craig Stammen as their manager. Unless you just don't want to watch anymore. And if you don't want to watch anymore, like, okay, I won't stop you. But if they start winning and Craig Stammen turns out to be a pretty damn good manager, then it's like, well, you're going to have to eat some crow because you'll be back. I see in the chat, it's Groundhog Day from Calvin. Okay. Do we all think this is going to be Jace Tingler? Could be. Could be Jace Tingler 2.0, 100%. But it also could be good. Could be. You know what's way more important than Craig Stammen? Like, infinitely more important than Craig Stammen? Who's playing first base for this Padres team? Who's on their bench? Can Fernando Tatis Jr. get to 30 to 35 home runs next year with like close to an 850 to 900 OPS? Can Manny Machado play at a high level still? Can Xander Bogaerts stay healthy and contribute to this team? Can Jackson Merrill stay healthy and perform closer to his rookie year than last year? Will Ramon Laureano for a full season? Will he be as good as he was last year, this year? The pitching staff. Oh, we haven't even talked about the pitching staff in this scenario here. The pitching staff. That's infinitely more important than Craig Stammen. Let me ask you this. Do you think the Dodgers win the World Series next year or in the next 2 years if Craig Stammen was their manager instead of Dave Roberts? Maybe. But you know what? The Dodgers are going to make Craig Stammen look like a good manager because they're going to win a bunch of games. And when you write in Shohei Ohtani in the lineup card and he's on the mound pitching for you and he's hitting first for you, hitting 3 home runs, going 7 shutout, that makes Craig Stammen look like a great manager.
You know the analogy? Luke Walton. Remember when Steve Kerr had like back surgery or whatever it was, and Luke Walton took over and went like 33-1, and everyone thought he was like the next Phil Jackson meets Red Auerbach, and
100%.
then he went someplace out there. Oh God, you're awful.
100%. You know, I want to hear Craig Stammen on Monday. I want to see what he says. I mean, maybe after Monday, I feel differently. Maybe he goes in the press conference, Brent, and he goes, "Yeah, I've managed a bunch of games in my mind." Then I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No more positivity. This guy sucks. It's going to be a disaster.
I don't think he'll do that because I think he was here for that. So
he was here for that. Yes,
yeah, he was here for that. So I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll learn from Tingler's mistake.
Dapper Dog in the chat says, I know 3 people who are either downgrading or canceling their season tickets already. Okay. That's fine. But what if they're good? Then what? You know? He's a middle reliever. Give me a break. Okay. But what does that have to do with anything? What is his baseball career, what he did on the field, have to do with managing at all? Giving up 4 home runs to the Nationals on 7 pitches back in, 2019? Is that going to really like determine if he's a good manager or not? No. Calvin, I don't like positive Jimmy. I think I'm just trying to be like realistic on it. I'm not saying this is going to be like the greatest thing ever and it's going to work. I'm just saying I don't know. Like I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I also don't know if it's going to blow up in flames. Nobody knows. Like that's what I'm trying to get across here is nobody knows how this will play out. And if you think you know, you don't. Doesn't mean there aren't aspects of this hire that I'm like, are you serious? But there are also aspects of this hire where I'm like, I get it. Okay. Makes sense. Because it's AJ Preller. You guys, we have been watching AJ Preller operate for how long now? This shouldn't come as like this massive surprise. I think I told John the other day or last week, I was like, watch, he's going to go and hire some rando. What do you do? To the collective baseball world, other than Padres fans, he hired a rando. And now we are going to have no choice but to see how it plays out. More on this later in the show, but coming up next, if you missed it earlier in the week, Aztecs have a huge game tomorrow night against Hawaii on the road. Their defense has been one of the stories of the year. Aztec defensive coordinator Rob Orich, he's going to join us, or he already did, but you're going to hear that conversation that we had with Rob Orich earlier in the week coming up next right here on John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by King's Hawaiian Sliders. The Aztec football team is on the road tomorrow night to take on Hawaii. Our pregame coverage starts at 6 o'clock. John and Rich will have the kick around 8. If you want to hear more on tomorrow's game, you can catch the Sean Lewis Coaches Show tonight at 6 o'clock. The Aztec basketball team is back at Viejas on Sunday afternoon when they go up against Idaho State. Pregame will start at 1 o'clock, and the tip will be a little after 2. And in the biggest no-duff football news of the day, Mark Sanchez will not return as Fox Sports analyst. The former NFL quarterback faces a trial stemming from his alleged attack on a truck driver last month. To replace Sanchez, Fox has hired former Super Bowl winning quarterback Drew Brees. Eli Manning reminds you there's nothing like football in King's Hawaiian Sliders. There's something about those soft, fluffy, irresistible King's Hawaiian Sliders that make them a winner on game day. Pick them up this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your favorite grocery store. King's Hawaiian, there's nothing like it.
All right, back here on John and Jim. Tomorrow night, San Diego State takes on Hawaii. Aztecs looking for their 7th straight victory before they take on Boise State next weekend here at Snapdragon Stadium. So we talked to Rob Orich, Aztec defensive coordinator, earlier in the week. Aztec defense has been nothing short of phenomenal this year, allowing just 10 points per game. So here's our conversation with Aztec DC Rob Orich.
Yeah, it's been a real blessing. I think anytime you can keep a team together that's coming off what I think was a foundational year for us last year in this program, I think you have a tremendous opportunity to accelerate where you've been. And watching our guys play right now, obviously I'm pleased with the result. I think there's still room for us to continue to get better. We have a tough opponent this week in Hawaii, but probably what sticks out to me the most is how mature this group is. No matter the opponent, the situation, a short field, coming off a turnover, whatever it is, there's really no blink in what those guys have on the field. So it's been fun to spur their advancement and accelerate where they're at. But I've been really, really pleased.
How early on did you feel like this defense could look like it's looked so far this season so far?
Well, I don't know if I had a great feel for where we would be in the off season. I think part of that is, we were all kind of catching our foot a little bit with the transition to the coordinator role and me being back in that chair. But I would say after the Cal game, and we had a really good plan for that quarterback, and we had a really good plan for them. But seeing us go out there and execute the way that we envisioned that we could, I thought was like, okay, we got to get these guys playing really, really fast and really, really simple. That's going to be our bread and butter, and let our good players be good players and not hold them back with any extra mental weight. So I thought a big turning point for us was after how we played in Cal.
Rob Orich is San Diego State's defensive coordinator. He's with us right now on John and Jim. Aztec 7-1 at Hawaii on Saturday night. Again, 8 p.m. Pacific is the start time. You can hear it on San Diego Sports 760. Rob, as you know, there's so much pride in San Diego State football. And specifically when you think about the defense, there's so much personal pride in all the successes this program has had over the years. You must feel that internally, like this snowball effect. You get off to a good start. Now it's become like a great start. How prideful is this group to, not just perform and win, but to perform at the level in which they've played to this point?
Yeah, I have tremendous respect for the history of this place, the same way you guys have. And You're obviously referencing it. And what Coach Long and the defenses of the past have done, and kind of how they're known throughout the country as a defensive cornerstone of college football. I certainly knew stepping into this, the expectations would be there. And I would say probably the biggest commitment we've had to ourselves as a staff is, we're gonna watch over all future, past, and present Aztec Warriors, and we're gonna make them proud. And there was one game so far this year where I felt like we didn't live up to that, and that happened early in the season. And I thought that was a really good wake up call for us. Hey, we need to iron this out. We need to make sure that those days don't happen anymore. And so for us, even though the start, everything, we're in the midst of it right now. no way are we thinking about this as a completed project. But having a tough game early on, week 2 against Wazoo, giving up 30, I thought it really centered us for how we got to approach things going forward.
How has Trey White improved and evolved over the course of last year to where he is at right now?
He's gotten a lot better at a lot of things. It's funny you should say that, because everybody looks at his production. At this time last year, he was in double-digit sacks, and I thought those were just kind of, the result of us being on the field a lot. And when you look at good defenses, you don't normally have the conference-leading tackler or the leader sack producer because we're not on the field. And that's our job, getting off the field at a 28% clip. And when I look at Trey's makeup now as a player, he is so much stronger as a pass rusher and in the run game than he was a year ago. And his body weight's probably up 6 pounds, 7 pounds, but it's all muscle. And you just see a guy who I wasn't sure could play at the next level the year before. And now I think he has the power and the toughness to actually do that when his opportunity gets called.
Rob Borge with us right now on San Diego Sports 760, the Aztecs defensive coordinator. I'm glad you mentioned stopping the run. I don't have the note in front of me. I should. But from last year against the run to this year against the run, and it's across all areas of your defense, but specifically, as we all know, it starts with stopping the run. What have been the keys to this level? It's one thing to improve, but you haven't improved. You've done a 180 in terms of cutting down the run game. How have you been able to do it?
Well, our guys have a lot of confidence in our base defense. And, we're at 26% pressure rate. Last year, I thought we pressured probably at a 40% clip because we felt like we had to. We don't really have to right now. And a credit to that is our guys' understanding of schematically what they have to play. And we always talk about, hey, gaps are never perfect, leverages are. And when you watch good defensive football teams, they're all playing with proper leverage. They're confident in pursuit. And you're seeing that right now, not only from our front 7, but really from our back 5 as well. And if there was a position group we had to gold star for improvement, it would be our defensive tackle room. And Sam Benjamin, adding Malachi Fee now, the improvement of the other guys in the room, and Coach Losey being who Coach Losey is. He's a dude. People don't know that. He's an absolute dude. And that room and their ability to be disruptive inside has greatly improved our ability to attack the run game.
Speaking of the secondary for this team, Chris Johnson leading the way for you guys. What makes him such a terrific player, and all the skills that he has shown this year, the ball hawking skills and shutting down the opposing team's top wide receiver? Like, what makes him special?
Yeah, it's his brain. It's his mind. It's the way he goes about his business. It's the way he prepares. Chris is as talented as most of the cornerbacks I've been around that have done it at the next level, but I think he prepares better. And when you look at Chris, man, we don't use the term coach on the field a whole lot, but that's how we kind of look at Chris. He has good ideas. We talk through adjustments on the sideline. And I think he's the guy that you can explain something to, and then he can actually go execute it where that hasn't been the past with other great players I've had. So for me, I think what makes him different is his aptitude for the game and the way he prepares.
Rob, to speak specifically about the challenge this weekend, as Aztec fans have known for forever, Hawaii has been a predominant passing team. I know they have a good running back and run game as well this year, but they've run that run and shoot. Micah Alejado is a terrific young quarterback. What makes this challenge so unique that you're facing this weekend?
It's a little bit like facing a triple option team where they have a lot of answers within their offensive scheme that they can get to. And so for us, when you see teams like this that just have a package and they find answers against the teams, and they've been really, really good in the second half, we have to have enough in our bag to make sure that we have answers for their answer. And that's one thing I give credit to Coach Stum and Coach McGorris was we normally find the answer really quick on game day. You look at Wyoming as an example. They score on the first drive, then we blank them the rest. That's been a strength of our staff throughout the season. And so when you face a team like Hawaii, they're gonna find a way to poke a hole in your D. you got to be quick on the adjustment, and your players have to be quick on to execute it.
Big opportunity and challenge this weekend for San Diego State, one game at a time for the 7-1 Aztecs, again at Hawaii, coming up Saturday night, 8 p.m. Pacific. Rob, congratulations on the success to this point. We're looking forward to Saturday night and the games moving forward. And thanks for hopping on, all right?
My pleasure, guys. You guys be good. We'll see you soon.
All right, Aztecs take on Hawaii tomorrow night. San Diego State's defense is allowing just 10 points per game. That's thanks to Rob Borich as their defensive coordinator. Also, the players on the field as well. 8 p.m. kickoff time. That's a pretty late kickoff here on the West Coast, but it's 5 o'clock Hawaii time or 6 o'clock Hawaii time. I don't remember. It's 5 o'clock, right?
It's 2 hours behind us.
Okay, so it's 6 o'clock Hawaii time. All right, coming up next. What is going on and what's the latest with this stupid YouTube TV ESPN holdout? I'll give you the latest details on that coming up next right here on John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, back here on John and Jim. Greg Camarillo, our NFL insider, is going to join me at 4:30. Annie is going to join me at 5 to talk about Craig Stammen as the new Padres manager. Also, later in the show, we're going to give away tickets to SDFC versus the Portland Timbers. Win or go home game 3 on Sunday night. It's a sold-out game, so if you want these tickets, make sure you're listening. So, still no resolution on the YouTube TV ESPN deal. I feel like, everything has just gone to hell recently. It's like there's the government shutdown, ESPN and YouTube TV hate each other. All these shutdowns. You know who's getting the brunt end of this? It's us, the consumer. So Yahoo Sports today reported that YouTube TV and ESPN are exchanging proposals, but they remain, quote, far apart, according to The Athletic. The two sides remain split on how much YouTube TV should pay ESPN for its services, as well as the thresholds and inclusions of a, quote, most favored nation clause, which would allow YouTube to gain benefits and guarantees from its increasing subscriber base. Get it done. I'm sick of, people are sick of this. And by the way, ratings for Monday Night Football and ESPN properties, they're all going down. By the way, they offered, if you have YouTube TV out there and you're like, why am I still paying full price for YouTube TV? Didn't they offer like a $20 discount? Here's the thing. You have to go do it manually in order to get a discount. So if you have YouTube TV and you're holding the line like me and you're not going to cancel until they eventually raise the price of YouTube TV from right now $82.99 to like $95.99, which then I am completely out. You have to go on a desktop and log into your YouTube TV account. Then you have to go to manage your YouTube TV in order to get a benefit and a decrease in your monthly charge, which is, I think right now, for the next 6 months, they said, you'll pay $72 instead of $82. This whole thing is just a mess. It's an absolute joke. You got the greed of Disney and ESPN and YouTube TV, like sitting there. They're not blameless in this at all either. I do appreciate that they're not caving to ESPN. I would blame ESPN more than YouTube TV on this situation, but YouTube TV does have blame in this. But the fact that ESPN is trying to get as much money out of YouTube TV as possible when they're already a multi-billion dollar organization that in turn would probably end up having YouTube TV raise prices once again for its consumers because YouTube TV has to pay more for ESPN's stupid product. The consumer is just over here just bending over and can't do anything about it. It's an absolute joke. And also, all of these stupid ESPN personalities getting on their knees and, begging consumers to go and either download this dumb ESPN app that doesn't work. Everybody hates it. It's a waste of time. Or to go here and download this. No, shut up. I'm not listening to you. Nobody cares about what you have to say. You know that meme, Brent? It's like even the worst person in the world said something I agree with. Pat McAfee the other day. I actually agree with Pat McAfee. He went on a rant about what I just said. Nobody cares about ESPN talent posting on their social media feeds to go and either download the ESPN app to watch ESPN content or go to this site to keep your networks or do this or do that. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about rich people telling not rich people, to go download and pay more money for other applications. Like, I'm not doing it. Screw you, Stephen A. Screw you, Mina Kimes. Screw you, Scott Van Pelt. Screw you, Mike Greenberg. Not doing it. Those are all the people that I've seen on social media that work at ESPN that are, bowing down to the man, caving in, and being used as pawns for this dispute between a $1 billion corporation and a $1 billion corporation, when the average consumer like myself, Brent, John, who don't make millions of dollars and can't afford sometimes to get all of these subscriptions, to then in turn pay more money. Guys, your content on ESPN sucks in the first place. The only reason why I have it is because of Monday Night Football and NBA and college football. That's it. And college basketball. Nobody cares about your dumb shows. First Take, whatever. I don't even know the shows anymore because I don't watch them because they're pointless. Back in my day, I feel like an old person now, Brent. Back in my day, but I remember the reason ESPN was so great was SportsCenter, which I would have on loops at night. It would just be running like SportsCenter for like 3, 4, 5 hours.
Oh yeah, I remember when I used to fill in for the morning show in Madison. I would turn SportsCenter on at 5 a.m. when I got there, and I would leave it on until about 10 o'clock when I left. And I just watched the same episode over and over and over and over again. And I loved it. I missed that.
I did the exact same thing. And I'm not 65 years old. I'm 36. So this is crazy how much has changed in such a short period of time.
Well, and even just look at SportsCenter now. There's like no highlights on it. It's more just like
SportsCenter is
stories
awful.
of
It's
them promoting
awful.
like stuff that they have coming up.
They got rid of the ESPN LA studios SportsCenter because SportsCenter does nothing for that station anymore. They completely changed their model to sports to talking head BS. Like that is what sports, that's what ESPN, other than live play-by-play, is known for. The likes of Stephen A. Smiths of the world, who makes hundreds of millions of dollars because he yells on television. And you have just a plethora of these talking head shows that have 6, 7, 8 analysts on the show at one time that I don't care about. I mean, every other week, Ryan Clark is apologizing on social media for saying something stupid and idiotic, and he is just the worst. Like these talking heads have made ESPN an absolute joke, and the fact that those same talking heads are going out on social media and telling the average consumer to pay more money when the billionaire corporation is trying to squeeze as much money out of possible with this deal that will drive the price up for me. Not happening. F you. Go to hell. Not doing it. So we'll keep you updated on that story. Coming up later in the show, Greg Camarillo is going to join us at 4:30. Annie Halbrun of the UT joining me at 5. More John and Jim right here. Next on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Robert Half. The Aztec basketball team is back at Viejas Arena on a Sunday when they go up against Idaho State. Our pregame coverage will start right here at 1:00, and John will have the tip after 2. The Aztec football team is on the road tomorrow night. They'll take on Hawaii. Our pregame coverage starts at 6, and John and Rich will have the kick after 8. If you want to hear more about the game against Hawaii, you can tune into the Sean Lewis Coaches Show tonight at 6:00. In NFL news, Mark Sanchez, no surprise, is not going to return to Fox Sports as an analyst. The former NFL quarterback faces a trial stemming from his alleged attack on a truck driver last month. Sanchez is going to be replaced by Super Bowl winning quarterback Drew Brees. At Robert Half, they found that 67% of companies want to increase contract talent. That's why their recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI work quickly to find skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
The Aztecs are on a business trip to Hawaii looking to maintain the hot streak. STFC looks to move to the Western Conference semifinals at Snapdragon Stadium versus Portland.
The chance for Manu to crack. Oh, hits the post. Another chance.
And we continue to react to the Padres' new manager. Now live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios. Now let's have some fun with John and Jim.
All right, hour 2 of John and Jim on a Friday. John is on his way to Hawaii. Maybe he's there already. I don't know. He's posting pictures from the plane on Instagram. So me and Brent holding down the fort until 6 p.m. tonight. 6 p.m. is when the Sean Lewis Coaches Show is on tonight, getting you ready for San Diego State and Hawaii. Wasn't on last night because we had Thursday night football. It's on tonight at 6 p.m. Probably should have had the Sean Lewis Coaches Show last night because Thursday night football was an absolute disaster. It was the worst. It was so bad. I watched a quarter, Brent, and I tapped out. I couldn't. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, why am I watching this god-awful game right now? I don't care about the Raiders. The Broncos, they have a good record, but are they a good team? I mean, some of the wins they have are just like by the skin of their teeth. And they're not against good opponents either.
No, I did think it was funny. I mentioned during one of the breaks that it was kind of funny how the national media for like the last 2 or 3 weeks has been all over the Broncos and they've just been loving them. And then they struggled, looked bad against the Raiders last night, which they won the game. They looked bad, but they still won. Mm-hmm. But now everyone is jumping off the Broncos bandwagon because of one bad game against Oakland. I almost think that's more of a statement, not Oakland, but Vegas. I almost think that's more of a statement against the Raiders than it is the Broncos because they're saying, wow, you're so bad that you struggled to beat the Raiders.
Yeah, it was the lowest scoring game of the year last night in the NFL, 10-7. So far. So if you watched last night's game, I'm very, very sorry for you. I'm very, very sorry for you. So looking at free agency in baseball, free agency is technically underway, Brent. Technically, free agency is underway. The Padres offered qualifying offers to Michael King and Dylan Cease.
For draft picks.
No surprise there. Didn't offer qualifying offers to Luis Ariz or Ryan O'Hearn. Not entirely surprised with that either. My guess, none of those players return. I don't think Cease is returning. I don't think King's returning. I don't want Luis Ariz to return. Ryan O'Hearn's a possibility, but I don't know. I don't even know if that's the Padres' first choice. So we'll see on Ryan O'Hearn. And by the way, Ryan O'Hearn, he had 16 home runs last year. It's fine. I want a guy that's hitting 25 to 30 if he's my first baseman. But that's just me. A guy out there that could absolutely hit 25 to 30 bombs. He was posted yesterday. Or no, excuse me. He was posted today. We've talked about him on the show. Again, not an easy name to say. but I feel like we'll get very good at saying it as the offseason goes on. Munetaka Murakami. Munetaka Murakami. Say that thing 3 times fast.
His last name isn't that bad. It's just the first name's kind of
Murakami. MLB on Fox, Brent, posted this on social media. The teams with the best odds to land Munetaka Murakami.
Let me guess. How many of them is there? Did they list?
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams they listed. Best odds to land Murakami.
The Dodgers, of course, will be in there because they always have to be.
Well, Murakami was a teammate of Roki and Shohei and Yoshi for Team Japan for the World Baseball Classic. My guess is he'll be on Team Japan once again for the World Baseball Classic next year.
Okay. Seattle.
Seattle's on the list.
Seattle's always on the list. Let's see. The Cubs, probably, because Chicago.
I mean, technically they're on there, but they're not. So here's the list. All right. I'll just give you the name. I'll just give you the teams and I'll give you the order as far as the best odds to land Murakami. All right. Phillies, Giants, Rangers, Mariners, Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Padres, Dodgers. And then they also put any other team. So it's the Cubs, it's every other team, right? Start at the bottom. Team with the worst odds on this list, the Texas Rangers, plus 900 to sign Murakami. Followed by the Phillies at plus 850. Then the Giants plus 850. Then any other team at plus 700. Followed by the Mariners and Yankees, Dodgers at plus 650. See where I'm going with this? With the Mets at plus 600. And the 2 teams with the best odds, according to Fox Sports here, to land Munetaka Murakami are the Red Sox and the Padres at plus 550. Teams have 45 days to negotiate with Murakami. So, again, can't do it off the top of my head, but you're looking at December, middle of December, right around probably the winter meetings, after the winter meetings.
Beginning of January.
Beginning of January, just kidding.
Well, it's mid-November now, so a month and a half. Yeah, so.
Well, you got 31 days in December, and then you add 14 days in November. So you're looking at December, not January, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
45
11,
days
12,
from
13,
today.
14. 45 days from today. So
that's a month and a half.
It's November 7th. So 45 days. So you got 23 days remaining in this month, plus 22 days in December 22nd. So they got until December 22nd from the posting period to get a deal done with Murakami. Do I think the Padres are going to land this slugging third baseman, first baseman from Japan? No. Because why? I don't know. Their track record is awful. They're not a team that has a good yet any track record with signing Japan players that are like potentially at an all-star level. Name me the last Japan-born player coming out, being posted that the Padres signed. I'll wait.
You suck, go.
He was not from Japan. He was from Korea.
Oh, okay.
I believe. I'm talking like highly rated prospects. They tried for Roki. It failed miserably. They tried for Ohtani twice. Well, actually once. Didn't work. They're always the bridesmaid. They're never the bride. I'm sure they tried with Yoshinobu Yamamoto. they tried with who's that? Suzuki, who's on the Cubs, Brent?
Oh, say Suzuki.
They tried with Seiya Suzuki, didn't work. Yu Darvish just telling all of his buddies just like play elsewhere. I know we were ripping the contract of Yu Darvish yesterday. You know how that contract would have meant something if the Padres landed one of these dudes. The Padres landed Roki or Seiya or Yoshi. Guess what? That $100 million contract that looks awful, I would argue it actually is great because Yu Darvish would be praised as being a great recruiter. Instead, he's the worst recruiter of all time. Literally the worst recruiter ever. So, is this a possibility for the Padres? My gut tells me no. But the second that I see a report, and John feels the same way, the second we see a report that the Padres are linked in any way to Murakami, every show it's Murakami watch. Every single show. Every single show until the end of time or until he signs. Murakami watch 2025.
Doesn't this kind of feel like they're just using the Padres again? You know how sometimes they'll just throw them in and say they're in on a trade candidate.
Yeah,
they just throw them in there just to, help out another team or to just make it look like the need is more than it is. This just feels like that's what they're doing. Whereas I'll believe it when I see it.
Probably will be a Dodger. Probably. I mean, a Dodger, Mariner, Yankee. Right?
Hell, last year Schulte was learning Japanese, or no, Preller was learning Japanese. It wasn't Schulte. That would be hilarious.
Well, Schulte, he was like, yeah, Roki's going to be a part of our team. No, Oops. He's not, you moron. All right, coming up next, some top free agent predictions and where some top free agents could land this offseason. We'll get into that coming up next right here on John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey guys, it's Jim with John and Jim for Hamul Casino, the Players Place. The next level of luxury has finally arrived. Treat yourself to a stunning new stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, and all the thrills of Hamul Casino Resort, now all in one unforgettable destination. You can unwind in style, experience pure relaxation with indulgent treatments, serene spaces, and a retreat design to refresh your body and mind only at Hamul Casino Resort. You can learn more and book a treatment today at hamulcasino.com/spa. Also, you can savor San Diego's ultimate endless dining experience at Hamul 23, from their world famous lobster brunch served every morning to the luxurious VIP endless dining experience each evening. Indulge in chef curated specialties, fresh seafood, prime cuts, and decadent desserts, all with stunning panoramic views. All of this and more at Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. All right, the Aztecs are on the road tomorrow night when they take on Hawaii. Our pregame coverage begins at 6 p.m. John and Rich will have the kick around 8 p.m. right here on your home for the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. So some top free agents in baseball. Let's go through some predictions on where they could land. I have some predictions here according to a MLB free agent tracker website. And once I get through the list here, let's see how many players are predicted to go with the Padres. Okay, so I guess Kyle Tucker is being dubbed the number one free agent on the market by baseball experts.
I've seen that a lot. Yeah.
Is he the number one free agent? Is he a superstar? I mean, Brent, you watch him with the Cubs every day. Like, give me a breakdown. Is this guy worthy of a big contract?
If he can stay healthy.
Okay.
His thing was he did good when he was healthy, but when he had to get put in DH, he wasn't as good, and they need him in the field. And
he didn't really hurt the Padres in the postseason.
Well, because he just hit.
He kind of heated up a little bit towards the end of the series, but it wasn't like anything that was, I guess, crushing to the Padres. I mean, this year he had 266 with 22 home runs, 73 RBIs, and 91 runs scored. He didn't play 162. I mean, are those numbers? And by the way, looking at his last couple seasons, 2023, 284, 29 bombs, 112 RBIs, 97 runs scored. That's really good. 2024, hurt again, 23 homers, only 49 RBIs, 289. And then last year, he had 266 with 22 bombs and 73 RBIs. Is that really the number one free agent on the market?
I wouldn't think so. I would think there's got to be somebody out there, because who else is out there? Schwarber, but I'd take Tucker over Schwarber.
Why?
Because he's better in the field. Schwarber can hit, monster dingers, but
Schwarber is infinitely better offensively than Kyle Tucker.
Yes, and Tucker is infinitely better defensively than Schwarber.
That's okay. I'm not asking Schwarber to go play defense in the outfield. I'm asking Schwarber to hit bombs and drive in runs.
Yeah, no, but he won't play DH. That's why the Cubs got rid of him, because he wanted to stay out in the field.
So where do you think this MLB tracker predicts Kyle Tucker will land?
Well, from what I've been seeing the last couple of weeks, Dodgers.
The Los Angeles Dodgers. Next free agent on the list, Bo Bichette. Okay, Bo Bichette
should have been the World Series hero.
Should have been, but he wasn't. He led the Blue Jays in RBIs. He had a great season. I mean, if he stayed healthy and he wasn't hurt, World Series is completely different because he couldn't run. He couldn't run. So where do you think Bo Bichette will land in free agency?
Who plays second base for Seattle?
It's a good question.
Nobody, if we can't think of it. So I could say maybe Seattle. They'll probably be looking to add.
Okay. They're predicting that
the Dodgers.
That Bo Bichette.
The Dodgers is the answer for every question. They'll just defer it to the end of time.
The Dodgers are actually under where Bo Bichette likely could land. But they're predicting Bo Bichette returns to Toronto.
Okay.
If he doesn't, and if you see Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette go to the Dodgers, just wherever you're at, just go find a stack of papers and just throw them in the air. Just screw it, throw them in the air. Let's look at Michael King. He's not one of the top free agents on the market, but we all want to know where Michael King lands this offseason. If you were to guess right now, Brent, where Michael King would land, where would you guess that they're predicting that he will go?
Maybe the Phillies or the Giants.
They actually have him going to the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, okay.
Why? Don't know.
Is he from Baltimore or something, maybe?
Let's check. I mean, he's probably Michael King. I think, let's see here. Where did Michael King? He was born in New York. Duh. So getting closer to New York is on his list. Maybe get back east. And then we got Dylan Cease. All right. Where do you think?
I've seen this one.
All right. Well, what do you got?
Cubs is the one I've been seeing.
I got the Cubs and I got the Red Sox. Cubs and Red Sox. Those are two teams that would be in, or at least where is projecting he could go. I could look at, and we can name off all these top free agents: Cody Bellinger, Pete Alonso, Murakami, Framber Valdez, Ranger Suarez, Josh Naylor, Edwin Diaz, Jorge Polanco, Shota Imanaga, Devin Williams, Trent Grisham, Kyle Schwarber, Alex Bregman, Merrill Kelly, JT Realmuto, Brandon Woodruff, Zach Gallen, Harrison Bader. All of these names, right? How many do you think are linked to the Padres? Just on initial prediction from this website, like just from a MLB predictions, where do you think, or how many do you think the Padres are linked to?
2.
You would be wrong. The number's 0. Can the Padres sign any of the players I just named?
Where'd they have Josh Naylor going?
Back to Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Are there any players that I just named there, which are the top free agents on the market? Are there any names the Padres can go out and sign? They could, but will they? That's the question.
No, maybe Josh Naylor would be affordable out of the other. Like
we had the other day,
Brent.
According to Baseball America, they predicted Josh Naylor is going to get upwards over $100 million contract. Are the Padres going to hand out a $100 million contract this offseason? Probably not. I would love, and I know all Padres fans would love to be proven wrong. Because that's just how baseball is nowadays. You have to spend money. End of discussion. Now, you don't have to spend at the highest level in baseball. You don't have to go to the $350 million where you're blowing past the CBT, where you're blowing past tax thresholds. You don't have to do that. But what you have to do is you have to be a top 7, 8, 9 spender in the sport. Have to be. Padres, they were a top 7, 8, 9 spender last year. With the money that they have invested already in this club, they're going to be close to that already. But you have to continue to spend. Unfortunately, they have all this money already tied up into players that don't perform. So because of those mistakes, the only way to navigate those mistakes and overcome those mistakes is you got to spend more money. You have to. If you're going to keep on relying on the same core and group to try to finally get over the hump without going out and spending money, it's not going to work because the players have shown they can't get it done. The pitching staff needs help, a lot of it. Ideally, this offense needs another bat or 2, but at least 1. And then you got to worry about your bench, and then you got to worry about your bullpen, and they have a lot of needs. Are they going to spend? They have to, because if they don't, if their big offseason move, Brent, is signing Craig Stammen to be their manager, I'll write next year off. Done. Not happening. All right, coming up next, Sunday, pretty big day for SDFC. Some would say, like us on this show, it's a must-win game. In Game 3, as SDFC takes on the Portland Timbers. We had Tom Penn, SDFC's CEO, in studio yesterday. If you missed that conversation, we're going to bring that back for you. Coming up next right here on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
The support is sponsored by Robert Half. The Aztec football team is on the road tomorrow when they take on Hawaii. Our pregame coverage with JR and Ben starts at 6 o'clock. John and Rich will have the kick after 8 o'clock. If you want to hear more about the game against Hawaii, you can tune into the Sean Lewis Coaches Show tonight at 6 o'clock when John, and I don't think Rich is on there this week, when John sits down with the head coach to preview the game and more. Sunday, the Aztec basketball team is back at Viejas to take on Idaho State. Pregame coverage will start at 1 o'clock, and John will have the tip at 2 o'clock. In NFL news, last night's Thursday night football game was so bad, the Raiders have fired their special teams coordinator, Tom McMahon. Raiders coach Pete Carroll announced the move this afternoon, saying that assistant special teams coach Darius Swinton has been named the interim coordinator. The Raiders had a missed field goal and a blocked punt, amongst other things, last night on Thursday night. At Robert Half, they found that 67% of companies want to increase contract talent. That's why their recruiters, expertise, and award-winning AI work quickly to find skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
All right, back here on John and Jim, Greg Camarillo, our NFL insider, is going to join me at 4:30. Annie is going to join me at 5 to talk about Craig Stammen as the new Padres manager and where this team goes from here. Sunday night is a big night here in San Diego at Snapdragon Stadium as SDFC takes on the Portland Timbers. Game 3, win or go home for SDFC. And their CEO, Tom Penn, joined us in studio yesterday to get us ready for the match and give you all the details on what's going to go down on Sunday night at Snapdragon Stadium. Here's our conversation with SDFC CEO, Tom Penn.
Big game, big time, going to be big fun.
All right, so for our listeners right now, if you want to grab tickets, go to sandiegofc.com/playoffs. All right, sandiegofc.com/playoffs. Expecting a sellout. First 25,000 fans, if you're watching on YouTube, are getting a rally towel. All right. San Diego FC rally towel. What do you want our listeners to know about what's coming up this weekend at Snapdragon Stadium?
First, just an intense, proper football match, right? I mean, we're going to go head to head for the 4th time in a row because we finished the regular season against the Timbers. So there's proper animosity right now. So there's a level of intensity that you don't see in soccer that often because you don't do these series very often. This is a unique MLS thing, this best of 3, trying to do it the American way a little bit. And it gets amplified because we finished by thumping them 4-0 in the regular season, celebrating on their home pitch. So that's how this whole drama started. We've played them 4 times this year, 2 wins, 2 draws, but we lost in penalties. Yeah. So we feel the sting of that loss. And now we come home and it's all about just executing, taking care of our game, playing our way because we believe we're the better team. But then we need to match that intensity. They fouled the hell out of us the last game. I mean, record numbers of fouls in the first half, them versus us. And we need to be ready for that and then just enjoy the moment.
What's the mood like inside, the organization, the club? Obviously, this is, a win or go home game here at Snapdragon Stadium. Are the nerves setting in a little bit as we get closer to Sunday, or how's the mood there?
I'd call it excitement. Yeah. In a way, I think we feel like we're playing a little bit with house money overall. I do, at least. We've had such a great year, but then we do feel this pressure and responsibility to achieve our limit. And we could win this whole thing. We could win MLS. We're that good. We've proven it over the season. We're one of the few teams that's really in it to win it. There's a uniqueness about soccer. The reason they don't normally do these winner-take-all tournaments, it's usually the whole regular season, right? Because of the vagaries of these one-off results. You can have one penalty. You could have one strange call. You could have one weird bounce of the ball, and you can just sock in defensively and try to, it's impossible to get a goal. So, but we're amped up, excited, optimistic, and I don't. There isn't nerves as much as excitement.
Tom Penn is the CEO of San Diego FC. He's with us right now in studio on John and Jim. Again, if you want tickets, expecting a huge crowd, another huge crowd at Snapdragon Stadium, go to sandiegofc.com/playoffs. Sunday night, 6 p.m. Again, sandiegofc.com/playoffs. I know you had high expectations heading into this franchise, but what we've seen at Snapdragon Stadium and beyond has been unbelievable. Some of the atmospheres all season long, including game one of the postseason. What's your reaction? You've been on the ground for a long time in preparation for this year. What has it been like from your seat to watch the growth of the culture and the community around SDFC?
It's been super gratifying, rewarding. My heart is full personally because this is what we envisioned, was being a club for the whole community. The results have outpaced the expectation. We didn't expect to win the Western Conference regular season, be the number one seed, and effectively be in it to win it. So the results are faster. The processes and the things we've put together, Mikey Varas deserves so much credit. Tyler Heaps, so much credit. The players, so much credit for establishing out of nothing all of this excellence and this foundation for more excellence. We can get better. We will get better. And it should be a sustainable story of success in San Diego. We're not even talking about the Right to Dream Academy and the youth development that's coming behind that for the long haul.
When you look at the field on the field here, the players, without the players doing what they've done this year, you aren't where you're at. One of those players, Anders Dreyer, named the MLS Newcomer of the Year. He's in the MVP discussion as well. What's it been like for you to see him, perform the way he's performed this year and really become, one of the faces not only of the franchise, but one of the better players in MLS?
I talked to him yesterday. I wanted him to know just how special this is. And everybody should know. These league-wide awards are few and far between. Mikey should be coach of the year.
Absolutely.
Anders would be MVP in most years, but there's this guy named Messi.
He's pretty good.
Who finished off pretty well.
Yeah.
And then Anders, the fact that he was even in that discussion, but then wins Newcomer of the Year, which is one of the major awards in MLS. There's 30 teams.
Yeah.
It's quite an accomplishment. He showed up night in, night out, day in, day out, consistently. Excellence, right? In both giving and receiving and finishing. 19 goals, 19 assists in the regular season. Clutch moments. The combination of him with Chucky when the pressure's really on, and now we see what's going to happen the rest of the way. Those two talents combined with the rest of our system, the rest of our players, but Anders had a special, special year that we should all celebrate.
Absolutely.
Tom Penn's the CEO of SDFC. So, Tom, for our listeners, again, you can grab tickets at sandiegofc.com/playoffs. How valuable is a venue like Snapdragon when it's rocking like it's been rocking this year? Like, what role can the fans play? Can the supporters play in a match like what's coming up Sunday night?
Look, it's one of the coolest venues in MLS. First of all, it's one of the biggest.
Yeah.
So if you take away the 3 NFL stadiums, we're the biggest soccer-specific stadium, if you want to call it that, in the country. 32,500 strong. Then you layer into it these traditions that have developed and the way our supporters in the end zone sing the entire match. At game one, I saw it on our countdown clock. We had it up on the TV. 15 minutes before our show started, not even kickoff, they started singing. And they didn't stop until after the players left the pitch after the victory. So that is in and of itself special. And then these traditions that are developing where the rest of the audience is joining, and we're giving away these rally towels to the first 25,000. That just creates the spectacle that you would see at an NBA playoff game. The Padres will do it, that kind of thing. But I always wondered what our playoff intensity was going to feel like, because I've been to Petco and I felt it for the Padres, and I'm like, damn, this is good.
Yeah.
It's really, really good at ours, and it's still developing. That's the beauty of when we win Sunday and advance, we're home again. How is this going to feel at the end of this run? And then what does it do as we're establishing what San Diego football intense playoff atmosphere is like?
So if you're not able to go to the match on Sunday, if you're not fortunate enough, how can fans watch? And of course, you can obviously tune in here on San Diego Sports 760.
Yeah, television wise, it's Apple TV and it's
Right.
free.
Mhm.
So if you just get on Apple TV, you're gonna be able to see the games the rest of the playoffs there. Occasionally there'll be some matches on Fox that are simulcast, but for Sunday night it's on Apple TV.
And the cool part is too, if you're watching on Apple TV, you can simulcast our broadcast here on San Diego Sports 760.
Get a proper local call.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, I love that feature from MLS on Apple TV Plus.
Super cool. And again, for our listeners, get there Sunday night, win or go home for SDFC. Tickets at sandiegofc.com/playoffs. Rally towels for the first 25,000 fans. Be a part of the home field energy at Snapdragon Stadium. Tom, it's always our pleasure. Great to see you.
Great to see you guys. Let's go.
And we're going to see you hopefully again in a couple of weeks when the Western Conference semifinals are played here
Yes.
at Snapdragon Stadium.
Okay, so there was Tom Penn, SDFC's CEO, getting us ready for Sunday's match. Win or go home, Game 3, SDFC versus the Portland Timbers. It's going to be a sold-out stadium. And all week we have been running a contest through our talkback mic on the iHeartRadio app for tickets to the sold-out game on Sunday night. And Brent, we have a winner of those tickets. Can I get a drum roll, please? The winner of the SDFC tickets to Sunday's sold-out Game 3, JT from where is this from? Tierra Santa. JT from Tierra Santa is the winner of those tickets. I'm sure our promotions department will reach out to you if they haven't already, but congratulations to JT for getting those pair of tickets to Sunday's sold-out match for Game 3 here at Snapdragon Stadium. Win or go home for SDFC. All right, Greg Camarillo set to join the show next hour. Annie's going to join me at 5 p.m. Stay with us right here on John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, back here on John and Jim. Greg Camarillo is going to join me at 4:30. Andy's going to join me at 5. I think tonight is the big night for the NBA Cup, Brent. If I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. It's NBA Cup night. Is everyone excited out there? Yay. We have NBA Cup games on Prime. We got the Spurs and Rockets, followed by the Nuggets and the Warriors. Warriors looking old very fast. Not surprising. But we have a full slate of NBA Cup action tonight. Who's excited?
No one.
Crickets. Dead silence. I mean, the NBA Cup. I predict this goes away and whenever this contract is up. But there's also the reality of it is that they have invested so much money into Amazon Prime, and the NBA Cup, I think, is directly tied to Prime, and they've invested all this money into the NBA Cup and scheduling, and that it probably is going to be around for a while. But I can tell you this, it will never be a thing, ever.
I think it'll be around for a little bit because as much as like us as fans don't really care, for me, like the Bucks are playing the Bulls tonight. It's a
regular season game.
Exactly. It's just a Friday game against a division rival. But the thing is, the players actually kind of like it. It seems like when you talk to them about it, they all seem to have positive things about it. And, we talked a little bit earlier this week about that video of OKC and how, ticked off they were when they got beat last year in the final against the Bucks.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like
that propelled them to an NBA championship.
But see, apparently the players care a lot more about it than the fans do. So I think that might be the only thing that keeps it around a little longer, which is kind of ironic because how many years have we been trying to get them to care about the All-Star game? Just a tiny smidgen, just a little bit, and they won't do it. But when it comes to the NBA Cup, something that the fans don't care about, now they're like, oh yeah, we're all in on this NBA Cup.
Here's the thing though. The NBA fan matters infinitely more than the players. So if you aren't getting the ratings that you want, the viewership that you want, when this thing goes to Las Vegas, I think, right? For like the finals or whatever, if you're not getting that place sold out and you're not getting like the numbers you're looking for, then how can you keep something going? I get the players, they're excited about it. But if the fans aren't excited, if the fans don't care, if the fans don't show up, if the fans don't watch, and these ratings aren't like 40% better than just average regular season ratings, then like, what's the point? Like there has to be a reason and a point for this. And the reason has to be, this is bringing in crazy ratings, or at least it's bringing in ratings that have doubled, tripled. I know the first year people were intrigued by it and the NBA paraded around. Look at our ratings for the NBA Cup. Okay, it's year one. People are interested in it. They want to see this. They want to know what's going on. But year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of this, are people going to be that intrigued when they know what it's about, which is a bunch of meaningless regular season games that they're trying to make into something? So I get you. I'm with you, Brent. I understand the players care. The players can care all they want. The fans don't care, then it's not going to be a thing for this long period of time that they want it to be. And if there comes a point where the ratings for NBA Cup games and the NBA Cup finals are exactly the same as a random Tuesday night on NBC, or hell, if the NBC games on Tuesday night, the coast to coast games, are outdrawing NBA Cup games, then like literally what's the point? Nobody cares about it. No one talks about it. No one reacts to it like it's a huge thing. If anything, they're doing what I'm doing right now, telling you and making fun of it, saying nobody cares. So, like, yeah, I wish the players cared all the time. And I wish the players for the All-Star weekend would care so that we don't get whatever the hell they're doing this year. And they just get like a traditional East versus West. What a concept. But it's all about the fans. It's all about the fans. You know, no fan was asking for this in the first place. The only reason why they're doing this is because they're getting a lot of money out of it from the networks. And going forward, if the ratings and the fan interest doesn't meet the level that it needs to meet, this is not lasting for like 50 years.
I think part of the reason they did it too was they got sick of having the nationwide knock of, oh, well, nobody cares about the NBA unless you're a diehard until Christmas. And this was their genius way of, oh, well, we'll do this big tournament and then people will care before Christmas. And most people just don't, because they haven't done anything to incentivize it for the fan, other than, gee, I wonder what ugly court they're going to play on this weekend.
I think one of the biggest problems with the NBA Cup isn't the NBA Cup itself. It's the like scheduling of it. You have Friday night NBA Cup games, and then teams go play somewhere on Saturday where they're like just quote unquote regular games. Like if you're going to do a tournament, block out like a 3-week schedule and do a tournament style where every game in that 3-week stretch is an NBA Cup game. Not this random, like people don't know when these games are NBA Cup games and they're not NBA Cup games. That is a problem for me because I have to check. And actually, it's really easy for me to check because I'll watch the game on television and is the court awful and looking like a neon pen? Like, yeah, then it's an NBA Cup game.
Yeah, they're not doing a very good job of promoting when the cup games are. They promote the cup, but they don't really let you know that, oh, it's on Friday or this week it's Saturday or, did they do Tuesday one time? So it's just, they don't do a good job of letting us know what specific days are cup days. It's like you said, you almost have to look. And then if you see the little cup thing, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot the cup thing is tonight.
They need to just block out pretty much like middle of November to middle of December, because this is how it is, where every game's a cup game. And ideally, you take away 12 regular season games, okay? And then you have 10 cup games. So you have 70 total, 60 regular season, 10 cup games, and then the extra ones in Las Vegas, leading you up to Christmas. So you got the cup games you got the cup, I guess, finals in Las Vegas, like the week before Christmas. And then boom, Christmas hits. That's when it's like, all right, the NBA season, we're underway. But they won't do that because all they care about is money, and more games equals more money, and they don't care. All right, coming up next, the wrap we got to get to. Greg Camarillo is going to join me at 4:30. Annie Halburn's going to join me at 5 p.m. Stay with us right here on John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Hamul Casino. The Aztec football team is on the road tomorrow night to take on Hawaii. Our pregame coverage starts at 6 o'clock. John and Rich will have the kick after 8 o'clock. The basketball team is back at Viejas Arena on Sunday when they go up against Idaho State. Pregame for that one will start at 1, and John will have the tip a little after 2 o'clock. Then after the Aztec basketball game, San Diego FC has a literal winner stay home game against Portland. Our pregame coverage for that will start around 5:30. And a few NFL news and notes. Mac Jones is going to start again this weekend for the Niners when they play the Rams. And newest Seahawk Rashid Shaheed is going to be in the starting lineup this Sunday for the already thin wide receiver core for Seattle. Hey player, the all-new Hamul Casino Resort is all for you. Enjoy a super luxe hotel experience, a super secret speakeasy, an indulgent spa, and an epic rooftop pool. Book your experience at hamulcasino.com.
The Aztecs are on a business trip to Hawaii looking to maintain the hot streak. STFC looks to move to the Western Conference semifinals at Snapdragon Stadium versus Portland.
The chance for Manu to crack. Oh, hits the post. Another chance.
And we continue to react to the Padres' new manager. Now live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios. Now let's have some fun with John and Jim.
Hour 3 on John and Jim on a Friday. Greg Camarillo, our NFL insider, is going to join me at 4:30. Andy Halbrun's going to join me at 5. Also, I've buried the lead. We have some giveaways here. We got a 4-pack of tickets plus a $50 gift card to Snow Jam.
Snow Jam.
Also, we have, let me pull this up here, a pair of tickets to see Bryan Adams at Viejas Arena on November 16th, the Roll with the Punches tour. So we have a pair of tickets to Bryan Adams. We also have a 4-pack of tickets plus a $50 gift card to Snow Jam from November 7th, which is today, to the 9th. So this weekend at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. So we'll give away those tickets later in this hour. But right now, Brent, let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Right, there's a theme today. We'll see if you can figure it out. Is tomorrow a must-win game for the Aztecs?
No, it's not. Because if they do lose, and if whatever happens tomorrow, they'll still be in first place in the Mountain West Conference. They would be 4-1. I don't know who Boise plays. Do you know who Boise plays? Do they even play this weekend? Because Boise right now in the Mountain West Conference, my stupid phone would load, which is not.
They have a bye.
Okay, so looking at the Mountain West Conference standings, all right? San Diego State sits atop the Mountain West Conference, undefeated at 4-0. Tell you what, the Wi-Fi in here is just god-awful. I mean, just pathetic. I mean, how can this place not have good Wi-Fi? My computer's not working, and my phone's not working. So guess what? I don't have the standings for you. All I know is San Diego State's in first place in the Mountain West Conference at 4-0. Other than that, because of the stupid Wi-Fi in this place, got nothing for you. I know Boise's in second, but I don't know if they're 4-1 or they're 3-1. My guess is they're 4-1. All right, I got it.
Yes, Boise's 4-1.
Okay. Gosh, this place, man. Computers don't work. Wi-Fi, just ridiculous. So San Diego State's 4-0. Boise State's 4-1. Fresno's 3-2. Hawaii's 3-2. San Diego State loses tomorrow night. Doesn't matter what Boise does, because guess what? Boise doesn't even play. So they'll go into their matchup next weekend at Snapdragon Stadium. Both 4-1. Winner of that game will obviously hold a tiebreaker in the Mountain West. We'll be on top of the Mountain West. So it's not a must-win game tomorrow night for their chances to not only get to a Mountain West Conference title game, but to host a Mountain West Conference title game. But if your goals are bigger than that, like, I don't know, the college football playoffs, then yeah, tomorrow's a must-win game. But for the Mountain West Conference, it's not. For the college football playoffs, for the slim chance that you make it, then yeah, tomorrow's a must-win game against Hawaii.
And just a heads up for everyone, we will be giving away tickets for the Boise State game next week.
Oh, must be nice.
The Flex Zone. So stay tuned for
those. Those are look, that's got to be a sellout. I know there's been a lot of talk about ticket sales and the ticket prices being through the roof, but look, they're doing a 2 for $40 plan. We're giving away tickets. It's against Boise.
Biggest game of the year so far.
My guess is they're going to announce some type of special whiteout. That's not confirmed. Don't take it to the bank, but they'll probably announce something along those lines for that game because it is shaping up to be the biggest game at Snapdragon Stadium ever, to be honest with you. So no, tomorrow's not a must-win game for the Aztecs, but it'd be nice to still, continue their winning streak. Next question, Brent.
Is Sunday a must-win game for the Aztecs basketball team?
Yes, it is. You want to know why, Brent? Because they're playing Idaho State.
Correct.
You can't lose to Idaho State at home. Non-negotiable. Can't happen. Sunday's a must-win. Absolutely a must-win for the basketball team. Like, we've already seen the Mountain West Conference have some just pitiful losses to start the year. Let's not have San Diego State join them with a pitiful loss of their own. Took care of business against Long Beach State, blew them out by 32 points. I have confidence that they're not going to lose at home to Idaho State, but I mean, with the way that the Mountain West Conference has played to start the year, it's like, I guess you never know. But yeah, it's a must-win game. Oops, don't have the screen on. My bad. Yeah, it's a must-win game. Next question, Brad.
Is Sunday a must-win game for San Diego FC? Only if they want to advance.
Well, here's the thing. If they lose the game, Brent, their season is over. If they win the game, their season continues to the semifinals. So, yeah, it's a must. Yeah, I would say that it's a must-win game. The winner of this game has complete control of the series. That's just my guess. Uneducated, of course. But yeah, I mean, come on. That's going to be a crazy game. I am fearful that Portland's going to come in here and try to make this thing as ugly as possible to get to penalty kicks. Which, I mean, if I was a Portland Timber fan, that's kind of what I'd be looking for. Like, hey, the odds of us outscoring you in regulation, probably not high. So you know what? Let's just muck this thing up. Let's make this thing ugly. Let's get this thing to PKs because we just beat you in PKs last week. So we have confidence with that. We know that that'll be in the back of your mind. And everybody will be on pins and needles at Snapdragon Stadium if this thing goes to penalty kicks. The nerves will be through the roof. So, yeah, let's not get this thing to penalty kicks on Sunday night, guys. That's just, I don't know, win in regulation. Like win by a couple goals. Let's not make this thing dicey, even though it's probably going to be a nail biter. Because of course it's San Diego sports. San Diego sports, there's always things that go wrong. Next question, Brent.
Will Craig Stammen last longer than his 3-year contract?
John really thinks that he won't. Like, he is pretty confident that this thing is lasting no more than the 2-year cycle that every Padres manager seems to have around here for the last 5 years. I, on the other hand, think they can't afford to have him not last at least 3 years. I don't know about 4. That would be crazy for a Padres manager around here to last 4 years. Last Padres manager to last through 4 seasons. Do you know who that is, Brent?
No.
Bud Black. Andy Green, 3 1/4. Then you had Jace Tingler 2, Melvin 2, Schilt 2. You're going all the way back to Bud Black. That is a long time. So can he last for more than 2 seasons? I mean, they gave him a 3-year contract. And giving him a 3-year contract, my guess is their goal is to keep him around for 3 years. And my guess is they're going to give Preller a 2-year contract so they match up, because that would be weird if they didn't. I mean, we haven't gotten an announcement from the Padres as far as AJ Preller's future goes. But Craig Stammen is expected to address the media on Monday morning at 10 a.m. I would bet a lot of money right now, Brent, that Monday morning at 9 a.m., Padres sent out a tweet saying they've extended AJ Preller. Or someone reports that they've extended AJ Preller. Because are you really going to go into Monday and that press conference with Dennis and Kevin staring down AJ Preller, ready to attack, knowing that you don't have a contract extension past next year? Are you really going to do that as an organization? Now, AJ will just say absolutely nothing when he's asked those questions, but the questions will come. And more importantly, the questions not only will go to AJ, but they'll go to Craig Stammen as well. Like, AJ will mumble his way through an answer that is saying a lot without saying anything. Well, you know. If you ever want to play a game and you want to get drunk really quickly, play the AJ Preller I don't know game. Or sorry, not the I don't know game. It's the you know. Anytime you hear AJ Preller say you drink. You're dead in 3 seconds. Maybe less.
Yeah, I almost think that they'll want to do both, because they don't like doing press conferences. So I don't think they're going to want to come and do a press conference on Monday for, the new manager. And then
they wouldn't do a press conference if they re-upped AJ.
You don't think they would?
No, they wouldn't.
Not even a Zoom one?
No. They when they gave Schilt and Preller the extension last time, they didn't do a press conference. They did an end of the year press conference.
Oh, okay.
But they didn't have a press conference after that or before that to talk about his extension. It's only, if AJ became the new president of baseball operations, maybe, but they wouldn't do a press conference for just an extension. But look, you're gonna get those questions if you do not announce or have an extension in place by Monday at 10 a.m. And it's gonna be weird. And my guess is one of the first questions will be about that. And it probably should be about that if they don't have a contract extension. So we'll see. But will Craig Stammen last more than 3 years in a Padres uniform as their manager? Honestly, probably not. Let's be real here, guys. Probably not. Craig Stammen, the 10-year manager that was hoped for by this franchise. Yeah, I'll believe when I see it. All right, coming up later this hour, Greg Camarillo, our NFL insider, is going to join us at the bottom of the hour, and he's going to join us at 5. More John and Jim coming up next right here on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, San Diego Sports 760 congratulates all our $5,000 winners in iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher powered by Donors Choose. There's still time for you to nominate a public school teacher making a difference, and maybe they'll be one of our next winners of $5,000 winners to make over their classroom. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. So what was one of the biggest stories in the NBA last year, Brent? One of maybe one of the bigger stories of all time in the NBA.
The Luka trade?
The Luka Doncic trade. So it's been almost a year. I think the trade happened on my birthday because I completely missed it. I was out to dinner, put my phone down, decided not to look at my phone all night long. Refreshing. But also, when your phone, when you look at it, has 75 text messages on it, and 70 of them are from my brother, who's a diehard Lakers fan, you know, what the hell's happening? So it's been almost a year. Not a full year since the Luka trade, but I mean, we got a couple months before then, right? I think the trade happened in February last year or the end of January, right before the trade deadline. So we're a couple months away from a year. So let's just do like a checkup on how the trade is going for both of these teams, right? Let's just do a checkup, right? Okay, cool. So where are the Lakers at right now in the Western Conference? Oh, they're 7-2. They're sitting right behind the OKC Thunder.
And LeBron hasn't played a game.
And Luka's averaging, what does this say here? Oh, that's right, 40 points per game. Luka's averaging 40 points per game. And he's not just averaging 40 points, he's averaging 11 boards and 9 assists. So damn near a triple-double. That's really good. Where are the Dallas Mavericks on this? Oh, they're at the bottom of the Western Conference. They're 2-6. Anthony Davis is out again with an injury. I mean, if you're Nico, I know you got the number 1 pick this year with Cooper Flagg. What's Cooper Flagg done this year? He's been okay. 14 points per game, almost 7 rebounds. It's fine.
I think he'll be better once Kyrie comes back and they stop making him play point guard for some reason.
True. Anthony Davis, 20 points, 10 boards a game, and he's out again with a groin injury.
They don't call him street clothes for nothing.
Like, there was a brief moment, if you were a Dallas Mavericks fan, where you're like, hey, this might actually work out good for us. You get the number 1 pick. You get Cooper Flagg, said to be one of, this is probably one of the better draft classes in recent memory, potentially. And then you start your year and it was like, oh, this sucks. Just kidding. Luka's averaging a 40-point triple-double per game. Lakers are one of the better teams in the Western Conference. And we're the worst team in the Western Conference right now. It's early. But do you see the Dallas Mavericks contending this year? Nope. They're talking about trading Klay Thompson. Klay is completely washed. Unfortunately, all those injuries to his leg, they're catching up to him. His Achilles, love Klay Thompson more than anything. He's done. They don't have Kyrie. Who knows when he's going to return from his ACL injury? Anthony Davis is always injured. And you're putting your hopes on a undersized Cooper Flagg, who, I mean, let's be real, he's not setting the world on fire just quite yet. The Mavericks suck. The Lakers are awesome. Luka is awesome. Anthony Davis is hurt. You lucked into the number 1 pick. Klay stinks. He's washed. Kyrie's hurt. Nico, woof.
Well, I said, earlier in the season we were kind of doing our predictions. I said, Luka's not going to lose all that weight and then come out and just be awful.
Even if he was still fat, he'd still be great.
Well, but he lost all the weight, and now his stamina is better to where he doesn't look gassed after like 5 minutes of playing. He's actually exerting a small amount of effort on defense this year. It's amazing. That first game he had like a block. Well, like the other day he had like a couple blocks, but that was one of his knocks too. Besides getting a little chubby around the waist last year, was that he didn't play defense, and it's almost like he took a lot of that criticism to heart, where it's like, oh, you guys think I'm fat? Well, I'm not going to eat a carb for like 6 months and just get skinny, and I'm going to actually play defense. This is rare, this league.
This is your fault, Nico Harrison. This is all your fault. You created a monster. You created Skinny Luka, who is now averaging a 40-point triple-double. And the Lakers are awesome once again. And oh, by the way, even if Luka was fat, he'd still be averaging 35, 10, and 8. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, the interesting thing is going to be, they're 7-2. And like I said, LeBron hasn't even stepped on the court at all yet. So, how is he going to screw it
on the court though?
No, that's my point. Is
that's a whole other subplot story over there.
Exactly. He'll come back, and then all of a sudden, they'll falter, because it's like me and Sammy were talking yesterday, the day before, when we were doing the show switch, about how the Lakers this year, they're beating all these teams that they should beat, which they didn't do last year. It's like, don't worry. I said LeBron will come back in a month, and then they'll start losing to teams that they should beat, just like they did last year.
So Skinny Luka, Lakers, awesome. Hurt Anthony Davis, suck. The Dallas Mavericks suck. It is going to go down, and there's enough time. I mean, the Mavericks are not winning an NBA title here soon. It's not happening. This will go down as just the biggest colossal failure of a trade in the history of sports, potentially. That's how bad it is. And if you're a Lakers fan, man, you lucked out. Once again.
Unless they pull a Cleveland. Remember, they got so lucky to where they got like, the number one pick, like 2 out of like 4 years. Maybe they'll turn that, pick around, and they'll get another number one pick.
It's just an awful trade. And I think enough time's passed. Yeah. Trading Luka, that was a mistake. All right, coming up next, our NFL insider, Greg Camarillo, is going to join us to talk about the NFL weekend. Coming up next right here on John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. The Aztec football team is on the road tomorrow night to take on Hawaii. Our pregame coverage with JR and Fletch starts at 6 o'clock. John and Rich will have the kick a little after 8 o'clock. The Aztec basketball team is back at Viejas Arena on Sunday when they go up against Idaho State. Pregame coverage for that one will start at 1 o'clock. And John, once again, will have the tip around 2 o'clock. And also after the Aztec basketball game on Sunday, San Diego FC is in a literal win or stay home game against Portland. Our coverage will start at 5:30. Need better sleep? Score huge deals on your perfect bed at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Stop in today and let the sleep experts find the right upgrade to your unique needs. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy.
All right, as we are joined by Greg Camarillo every Friday here on John and Jim, former NFL wide receiver. You can also watch him on Football Night in San Diego Sundays after Sunday Night Football. So we'll start with this, Greg. First off, because you've been traded before in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Correct, I was.
Do you remember who you were traded for?
Yes, I do. Benny Sapp. He was a DB for the Vikings. I was a receiver for the Miami Dolphins. And that was actually one of my first questions. So I got called into the GM's office. This is during training camp. And they didn't say bring your playbook, which if they say that, you know it's a wrap. You're getting cut. You're going home. They didn't say that. So I was curious. And being an undrafted guy, once they told me I was drafted, I wanted to know, like, what round value do I have? This was probably 5 years into my career. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get to find out because I was traded directly for another player. I was really hoping to, like, finally figure out, okay, I'm a 4th round pick. I'm a 5th round pick. Nope. I just got swapped.
Well, Benny Sapp in his career had 6 total interceptions. And he played for multiple teams. So I could understand, like, hey, did you trade me for a 3rd rounder or a 7th rounder? But during that process for you, what's it like getting traded? Like, did you feel or did you know or get an inkling that you were going to be traded, or was that a complete shock to you?
No, I had no idea. I had just come back from a groin injury and literally had like one full practice. The GM calls me in, like I mentioned, and says, hey, do you know what's going on? And Mike, I looked at him like, how the hell would I know what's going on? He says, we just traded you to Minnesota. And mind you, I live in Miami. I own nothing but shorts and tank tops, and I'm getting shipped to the Arctic tundra of Minnesota. And, you know, I get that news at like 9 a.m., and they already have a flight booked for you. So it's like at 2 p.m.,
wow,
you're on a flight. And at this point, I owned a house, a car, a dog. My wife now, my fiance then, was also in Florida. And you have just a couple hours to figure out life and then get on a plane and then go meet new teammates. So the first thing I did, the most important thing I did, I had to get a haircut. I couldn't show up to the new team looking like a clown. So I got my haircut and flew off to Minnesota to finish off 2 more years as the Vikings.
Absolutely. When I think of, you know, big life changes, I think of getting a haircut. Which I'm with you there. You gotta look good. You gotta look good, Greg.
Look good, man.
Yeah, you gotta look good. Greg Camarillo join us here on John and Jim. So segueing to the trade deadline this past week, it was a pretty newsy trade deadline. You know, you had some big time players traded. For you, who made the biggest splash in free agent or the trade deadline, and who had the best pickup at the trade deadline in your opinion?
Yeah, and the background is kind of fun to see because at this point of the season, there's a couple teams just need to give up, and that's the Jets, the Dolphins, which everyone is aware. But then there's a couple teams where you're not quite sure, you know, if the GM is really ready to call it a year and give some guys away and pick up some draft picks, or if they're going to try to bring in a new person and reinvigorate the team and have a belief in them. So, you know, we'll start with the Jets. That's a team that clearly is not going to the playoffs. They're in disarray. So why not unload a few of your stars? So they got rid of Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. And I love this pickup for the Colts. So I believe they swapped, I think, 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, who is one of the best corners in the game. So a defense with the Colts that needs that. But what, to me, the best thing about it is a statement from Ursay Gordon, the owner of the team and the GM for the Colts, that they are 100% in on this team to go win a championship. And when you're in the locker room and you see that, it permeates everything. You know, your coaches have a new excitement, the players have a new excitement, and everyone around you believes, all right, this is the squad. We're going to go win a Super Bowl. And what I really like about it from them is bringing in Daniel Jones for a GM and an owner to say, you know what, we missed on Anthony Richardson. It didn't work. We're going to change directions and go for it. And that it requires some humility. And they went for it. So I love that pickup from Sauce Gardner. Now, on the other side of that, Jets get a bunch of picks, and they need to rebuild. And I've been on a team that's rebuilding. And if you don't have your stars on board with rebuilding, it's going to struggle. The easier way to do that is to go get a bunch of young guys with young energy and young salaries and rebuild from there. So, you know, I like that for the Jets. It won't pay benefits for a couple of years, but I like it. And then the other big one for me was the Eagles. They went and got Jalen Phillips, a pass rusher from the Miami Dolphins. In the Eagles, they're trying to get back and win another title. And I think this is a piece that's really going to help their defense and put them in a position to go compete for another championship.
Greg Camarillo, our NFL insider, joined us here on John and Jim. On the flip side of that, what do you think the mindset is of teams? I'll just start with the 49ers. They're 6-3 on the year. They have a million injuries. They didn't go out and make any big significant moves. If you're in that locker room, what are you feeling like today if you see that your organization didn't go out and make some moves to help you with all these injuries that you have, and you're still in compete mode because you're 6-3 on the year?
Yeah, they're right there. I think they're in third place in their division, but a game away from the Seahawks and the Rams of catching right up. I think they have enough tools where once they are healthy, as long as they can stay with it, they're going to be okay. You lean on Christian McCaffrey. He's your star. You got a star lineman in Trent Williams. You just got George Kittle back in the lineup. You know, they're missing Fred Warner. They're missing Bosa on defense, but they have the tools there. The more interesting question to me with them is if you keep winning with Mac Jones, does Brock Purdy stay on the bench? You figure he's going to be back in a week or two, and Mac Jones has been leading you to victory, but you've paid $200-something million to Brock Purdy. I see an issue there, and I'm curious to see what happens. They have a huge game against the Rams, which has a lot to do with the division. And if they could somehow sneak out a victory there with Mac Jones running the offense, they've got a big question mark as to who to continue to start, Mac Jones or bring in their guy Brock Purdy, who they're paying big bucks to.
They also do have a built-in excuse of this turf toe injury with Brock Purdy. If they decide to go with Mac Jones, if it was like Brock Purdy was 100% healthy, that would, I think, be a little ugly there. But, I mean, they have a built-in excuse if they choose to go with Mac Jones the rest of the way if he continues to play well. Greg Camarillo, join us here on John and Jim. The other team that's playing the Niners this weekend, the Rams. I mean, Matthew Stafford's playing out of his mind this year. I feel like we haven't talked about him being a legit MVP candidate, but he's absolutely one as of this point. You know, are the Rams, in your opinion, one of the best teams, or could they be, in your opinion, the best team in the NFC right now?
Yeah, they are one of the best teams. Their record says it, their play says it, and I think it started out as a quiet year for them because Matt Stafford was basically injured all through training camp, which to me looks more like a veteran that just knows he doesn't need training camp. And then Puka Nacua got hurt, but the way that he's built chemistry with Devontae Adams, now we've seen Devontae absolutely light it up as a Packer, and then things didn't really work out so great in his Raider years and his Jets years, and now he's reinvigorated in his career, and that is a lot to do with Matt Stafford and how amazing he is as a quarterback. He should absolutely be on the MVP watch. The Rams are one of the best teams in the league. And it's a Sean McVay staple. We've seen that team lose players, get injuries, but they always stay in the mix. And it's like a Mike Tomlin type of team. No matter what happens, he will have them ready. He will have them in the playoffs. But this year they look just a little bit better than years past. And so it'll be fun to watch them against the Niners. We're missing some of their key components for the Niners defense, but a wonderful NFC West battle, which will have huge implications for who wins that division.
Greg Camarillo joining us here for a few more minutes here on John and Jim. Moving over to the AFC, Greg. Broncos last night, it was an ugly one. 10-7 win over the Raiders, improving to 8-2 on the year. They've had some ugly victories this season here. Bo Nix kind of showing a little bit of regression. For you, in your opinion, would you still consider the Broncos one of the better teams in the AFC, or is it a little bit of a fool's gold here?
They are. And, I think they've won 7 straight. So they are playing great football. And I put them towards the top because of their defense. And we saw last night, it was ugly on both sides of the ball. But when your offense lays an egg and your defense only gives up 7 points, you're going to be fine. You can find a way to get enough points to win a game when you have a defense like that. And Bo Nix won't play like that week in and week out. He's shown, I think last week he won a game by running for like a 20, 30, 40-yard gain late in the game. So he showed his athleticism. His accuracy as a quarterback is outstanding. So I think they're in the mix. They're actually number one in the AFC West right now, ahead of both the Chargers and the Chiefs, and they're playing that way. And so when a team has a rough game like they did last night, but still finds a way to win, it's a sign of a good team. They play poorly and still get the W because the W is ultimately all that matters.
And final one for me here, Greg, moving over to the Chargers, losing Joe Alt for the season. They went out and picked up a lineman. He's not at Joe Alt's level at all, but still this team's got to figure out a way to keep Justin Herbert upright. Do you think they can do that with the loss of Joe Alt and the acquisition they made here at the deadline, bringing in another lineman?
No, I don't think so. I think this move, I think it was just a pat on the back, like a come on guys, we still believe in you type of move. They had to do something to show belief. But Joe Alt is the difference maker. We saw early in the season with him out there, Chargers looked great. Then he got hurt, spent a couple weeks without him. And now they've had other linemen hurt, but spent a couple weeks without Joe Alt. Chargers looked horrible. They get him back, and suddenly Justin Herbert looks great again. And now he's hurt again. And so that move wasn't enough for them to suddenly have a fully functional O-line, to suddenly protect Justin Herbert. Last week, he started the game with a pick 6, which is just not something you see from him. And to me, that's a sign of he's just flustered from getting hit all the time, trying to make quicker decisions, which aren't necessarily the right decisions, him having to run for his life. So I don't think it's enough, but, I'm glad they did something to at least try to keep the team motivated to play. They're in second place in their division ahead of the Chiefs. So they're still alive, but I think the injuries are going to be insurmountable for them.
You can watch Greg on Football Night in San Diego after Sunday Night Football on NBC with our friends Darnay Tripp and Rich Orenberger. Greg, thanks for joining us. As always, we'll catch up with you next week on Friday. All right, man?
All right. Appreciate it, Jim.
All right. Coming up next, Andy Halburn of the UT is going to join me at the top of the hour to discuss the Craig Stammen hiring by the Padres. Also, right now, I'm going to do this right now, Brian. You good with this? All right. Right now, we are giving away Snow Jam. 4-pack of tickets to Snow Jam plus a $50 gift card at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Right now, caller number 5, 877-767-4760. Caller number 5, you have won a 4-pack of tickets plus a $50 gift card to Snow Jam at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Caller number 5, 877-767-4760. You're a winner of the 4-pack of tickets to Snow Jam. More John and Jim coming up next right here on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, back here on John and Jim. Annie's going to join me at the top of the hour. Also, if you missed it yesterday, Tay Simmons, freshman forward, true freshman forward for the Aztecs. Phenomenal interview. Phenomenal.
Doesn't look like a freshman.
Does not look like a freshman.
Huge.
Does not sound like a freshman. Like, he is wise beyond his years. If you missed that conversation, we're going to bring that back for you. Coming up here at 5:30, San Diego State off to a 1-0 start this year with a 32-point victory over Long Beach State. They take on Idaho State coming up here on Sunday. Magoon Guath, by the way, let me just pull this up, this report. John Rothstein, he said that today, Brian Dutcher said, or at least told him, that Magoon Guath is now available for practice. He's been doing a lot of 5-on-0s, but now he is scheduled and ready to go for practice. Is he going to be available for Sunday? We'll see. That's a good sign that Magoon Guath looks like that he's nearing a return to the Aztecs. Here's what John Rothstein said. San Diego State's Magoon Guath has been cleared for live contact in a gradual return to play, per Brian Dutcher. Mentions that Guath averaged almost 9 points, 5 rebounds, almost 3 blocks last season, winning Mountain West Conference player, Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. So Magoon is on his way back, which is a good thing. That means guys like Tay Simmons might get less playing time. But the thing that I love about Tay Simmons, and you'll hear him coming up next hour, like if you missed it yesterday, like you have got to stick around for this interview, guys. Tay Simmons, fantastic. And we interview all these guys, and I tell you what, some of them, they're already better as far as media training goes than some professional athletes. Like they are good. LZ Harrington, we had him on the show when we were at Broken Yoke at SDSU. He was fantastic. But this would mean Tay Simmons' playing time would decrease. And he said yesterday, and you'll hear it, like he's all about the team. He knows what his role is. He knows what the deal is for this season. And having a guy know that coming in and not, he could rock the boat. He's like, dude, I could go anywhere. Like I chose here. Like I want to play, but doesn't seem like that's going to happen at all. I mean, some of the highest rated recruits that Brian Dutcher has brought in his tenure, LZ Harrington and Tay Simmons, and they're all about the team. I mean, you love to see it. So we'll see if Magoon returns on Sunday. My guess, probably not. I think the whole understanding with when Magoon was going to return was going to be probably either the, at the best case scenario, first week of November, more realistically, probably second to third week of November, which, hey, still on still on the right track, still on the right timeline. And if it happens on Sunday, great. If it doesn't happen Sunday, that's fine.
I think they're just going to they're going to treat him in a way like a starting pitcher in spring training, where they're going to ramp him up a little bit so that when I think the Players Era tournament's on the 24th, I think
it's the weekend of Thanksgiving.
So I think they're going to kind of ramp him up. So once they get to the Players Era tournament, he'll be ready to go. And I think he'll be more of a factor for then. So even if he would play on Sunday, I would guess it's, he'll be on a minutes count of probably no more than 5 minutes for this first game, maybe
5 to 10 minutes, probably just to
ease him in,
get his
legs under him. Yeah.
Maybe 10 to 15 tops. So yeah, San Diego State, they take on Idaho State on Sunday afternoon. John's doing the double dip. What are the odds he does? What are the odds that nothing like travel wise bad happens?
I think they'll be all right. Teddy's done it before in the past.
With all these shutdowns, like now I know that he took the charter there My guess is they're taking the charter back,
Yeah.
obviously.
I
So
don't think
he's not flying commercial.
Yeah, they're not flying coach or anything like that. So
Must be
I don't think they'll
nice,
have to worry
John.
about that.
Must be nice. Doing the double dip. San Diego State football on Sunday night, Aztec basketball Sunday afternoon. All right, the Padres have a new manager. If you've been living under a rock, Andy Halburn's going to join me next to talk about the hiring of Craig Stammen. Stay with us right here on John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
Hey guys, it's Schaefer again, and there is no better time than now to get down to your local Toyota dealer with new vehicles arriving daily, including their most popular cars, trucks, and SUVs. We'll get back to the trucks in a moment, but whatever kind of vehicle you're looking for, hurry into your Toyota dealer today because it is Trucktober at your Toyota dealer. The best time to get into a new Toyota truck. They've got the largest inventory of Tacomas and Tundras ready to roll. The Tacoma is known for its legendary toughness, off-road capability, and everyday efficiency, perfect for weekend adventures or just tackling your to-do list. And the Tundra brings serious power, impressive towing capacity, and bold design, plus the latest tech and comfort features. Whether you need a truck that's built for the trails, built for work, or built for your family's next adventure, Toyota's got you covered this Trucktober. We make it easy. See your Toyota dealer today. Hey guys, it's Schaefer.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. The Aztec football team is on the road tomorrow night when they take on Hawaii. Our pregame coverage with JR and Fletch starts at 6 o'clock. John and Rich will have the kick slightly after 8. If you want to hear more about tomorrow's game against Hawaii, you can tune into the Sean Lewis Coaches Show tonight at 6 o'clock when John sits down with the Aztec head coach. The Aztec basketball team is back at Viejas Arena on Sunday when they go up against Idaho State. Our pregame coverage will start at 1 o'clock, and the tip will be a little after 2. Following Aztecs basketball on Sunday, the San Diego FC is in a literal win or stay home game against Portland. Our coverage there starts at 5:30. Need better sleep? Score huge deals on your perfect bed at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Stop in today and let the sleep experts find the right upgrade for your unique needs. Mattress Firm, make sleep easy.
The Aztecs are on a business trip to Hawaii looking to maintain the hot streak. STFC looks to move to the Western Conference semifinals at Snapdragon Stadium versus Portland.
The chance for Mondo to crack. Oh, hits the post. Another chance.
And we continue to react to the Padres' new manager. Now live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios. Now let's have some fun with John and Jim.
All right, final hour of John and Jim on a Friday, taking you to 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, we're joined by Annie Halburn of the UT. Annie, we'll just start right here. What was your initial reaction yesterday morning when you saw the report that old friend Craig Stammen is now the Padres manager?
Jim, great to be on with you. I see John's really having it rough these days in Hawaii, but that's a different story.
Yeah, slumming it in Hawaii. Of course he is.
So I was really surprised. I think if he had been in the running the whole time and we had heard his name floated with the other candidates, I don't think it would have been as surprising. But just that his name hadn't come up, no one even really knew he was in the race. I think that caught everyone by surprise. And also, logistically, just, to be a manager, the amount of time it takes, the travel, the time that you're away from your family, he's got, I think 4 kids, maybe 10 and under. So he's got a small young family, or kind of a larger young family. And so I was kind of surprised that, he even wanted the job to begin with, I guess, but I'm sure he sees it as a great opportunity, and it really is for him. It's going to be a good opportunity.
So, we were all shocked, yes. But when you look at it and you take a step back, does it make sense in your opinion?
It makes as much sense as what the trend is now for hiring managers, because it's like, where has this all gone? Who knows? Who knows what they're even looking for in a manager anymore? I think Craig Stammen absolutely has the chops to do it. I mean, I think that, he could be another Stephen Vogt. He could be, someone who goes out there and has success as a manager, really takes to the job and likes it. I think that it's hard to tell because, all those things that you're hearing about him, like high integrity and gets along with people and isn't afraid to call people out and whatnot, all of that is true. But I would also say that some of the managers who have been making it to the World Series or even winning the World Series, I know firsthand, or I wouldn't put them in the high integrity category. So while I think it's great, and maybe, that's what I would look for in a manager, I don't know if it translates to winning or not, right? And so there's a lot of things, even the fact that he's got his teammates that he, once played with that he's now managing, I think is going to go fairly well. I do think that he's the kind of guy who will have the hard conversations early and who understands the dynamics of a clubhouse with both superstars and guys who are fringe players and just trying to stay on the roster. But you just never know. Once you get into the dog days of summer, you go on a big losing streak. How does a rookie manager react to that? How do the players react to that manager? There's so many unknowns. And then the last thing I would say too is I think that there's kind of a callousing that has to go on with being a manager, in the sense of you have a blister on your hand and it calluses. Even though Craig has so much familiarity with being a player and the grueling season that it is to be a player, to be a manager now these days, like I believe Mike Schilt that it affected his health, because you see these managers and they age like 10 years with every season they do, because you're just like pulled in so many directions. There's so much influence now coming from all kinds of areas. Plus, you've got the dynamics of the clubhouse. Plus, you've got everything. I think Craig is absolutely equipped to handle it, but I do think that it takes a different kind of like getting used to, if that makes sense. So I would imagine that there will be some growing pains there as well.
Andy Halloran joining us here on John and Jim. Well, yeah, I mean, all those questions by AJ Cassavell about hitting a rise in the 2-hole can really affect a man.
Worst.
Yeah, it can really affect somebody for sure. So I said yesterday that the Craig Stammen hiring, to me, on first glance, it's like it could absolutely fail, but it could absolutely work. I'm kind of in the middle. The thing that I'm more excited and happy about is the fact that Ruben Niebla is reportedly going to be returning as well. So when you pair a Ruben Niebla, who was in the running to be the manager for this team, with Craig Stammen, it looks better than if it was just Craig Stammen and all of a sudden we saw Ruben Niebla go to like the Mets or whatever. I feel like the Ruben Niebla returning factor is just as big as them hiring a manager.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I do wonder, I saw the tweet yesterday from Alden that says he's expected to return. Right. And I've seen a player or two that said, like, I hope Ruben is back. And so it does, I'm sure like once you get away from not getting the job, and you take those next few days to think about like, what are your options? What is there in front of you? Like I expect also that Ruben will be back. But I can also understand from his perspective, if he does want to manage, and that is something that he's going to set his sights on, having that conversation with the organization at some point, if that is something that he sees in his future, but the organization in the Padres doesn't see that, with him. So I do think he'll be back this year. That's just my hunch. I have no insider info on that. But like you just said, Jim, I also think he'll be back. So it's huge. I think it's huge to have him and Ben Fritz, who has gotten a kind of not a promotion, but a bump in pay and I think a longer contract now. You're solidifying, assuming Ruben is back, you're solidifying that at least for the next few years, you've got a good bullpen staff, a good bullpen just department as a whole, right? That is going to be able to supplement Craig. And then like Craig also is so good. I mean, he knows the bullpen, but to be able to pass that off, be able to have Ruben and Ben Fritz with him and just devote some of his energy to something else. Because even though you are a pitcher in the bullpen, as I'm sure you've talked about, doesn't mean that you are always thinking about how you would manage it or what guy you would go to and what inning. And just to have that confidence behind you in Ruben and Ben Fritz would be absolutely huge for a rookie manager. No doubt about it.
Andy Halloran joining us here on John and Jim. So you're obviously in that clubhouse all the time. You've interviewed Craig probably 50 times or so, maybe even more. What was Craig like in that clubhouse as far as how other players viewed him?
Yeah, absolutely stand-up guy. I mean, first of all, if he had a bad outing, he would be standing at his locker after the game, ready to own up to everything, ready to talk, ready to answer all the questions. And I know that seems like a trivial thing, but especially in recent years, it's not as common as you think for players who have bad games to stand at their locker and answer questions. And it does show some kind of confidence and fortitude in oneself to be able to stand there and do that. And also just a willingness to own up to be accountable and to own up to things. And I think that that's something that he's going to instill or, want to keep instilled in the clubhouse is kind of that accountability. But the biggest thing with him, and this was especially the years that I was the sideline reporter and I'd be on the buses and the planes and everything with the players, he transcended the relief corps. I mean, he was very well respected by the position players, very well liked by the position players, and a leader. I mean, they listened to him. He would be one in the players only meetings. He would talk and Manny Machado would talk, and Manny listened to him. And so I think he is someone that is kind of on like funny. I think Craig is a super funny guy, very dry humor, makes fun of, self-deprecating when he wants to be. But also just very understanding of like, there are superstars in the clubhouse. There are fringe guys in the clubhouse. How does everybody work together? And also, like, what are the things that you have to do daily to make that happen? You know, and he's going to lead by action. So all of those tangibles and intangibles, he has, as a player, he's got them, and he just has to translate them to managing now. But he definitely was that guy in the clubhouse, and with the way he went about his work, but also just the way that he talked to players and the way that he brought guys together.
So the press conference is Monday morning, 10 a.m., I believe, at Petco Park. How surprised would you be if there's not an announcement before the press conference that AJ Preller has signed a contract extension?
You know, those Padres, I feel like they're going to announce it at the table while we're sitting there. You know, have that, reactionary moment of like, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, you know, so everybody gets their little gasp in and
oh my gosh,
news.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I do think that will happen either before or at the press conference, and they will kind of, you know, take care of both things in one fell swoop there. And
if they don't, what would your reaction to that be?
If they don't, you know, I think you're just kind of opening it up for more questions. I don't think that it's hugely, something that needs to be worrisome, because I think if they don't, to me, it's just, they just haven't figured out terms. They just haven't figured out what, you know, they haven't like nailed out the nuts and the bolts of whatever they're doing. Or maybe they just have a few more things to figure out or whatever, because, you know, Preller isn't, I don't think that they're, as much as we on the outside are like, when are they going to get this done? I think that they look at it like they've got the whole offseason to get it done. Like, I think Preller looks at it like he'll be back. They look at it like Preller will be back. And now it's just a matter of figuring out the logistics of it, you know? And, you know, I that isn't to say that I think that there was some uncertainty about that before, because there was definitely uncertainty about that, you know, earlier on in the off season, or when the regular season was probably coming to a close. And I think if there was an opening somewhere else, you know, I wouldn't ever be surprised if that could be something that, you know, AJ Preller might want to explore if that was the right opportunity for him. But if the Padres really are, you know, looking at him like the GM of the future and giving him enough kind of, you know, leash here, and Craig is his guy, you know, so I feel like he wouldn't have gone through all this whole interview process and been able to hire his guy if they weren't bringing AJ back. Then I do think he wants to stay here, you know, if they are able to kind of come together on all that.
Well, we'll probably be doing this again in 2 years anyway. So.
Oh, okay. That was my thing too. Listen,
none of it matters.
You can't even, none of it matters. And you can't even say, because I know everyone's going to be like, well, a great first year. They all had great first years. Yeah. Okay. And then the second year, even Mike Schultz, even though he had a 90-win season, you can't even say it was a great year because the guy left at the end of it. So
I know. Yeah.
Out. So 2 years, to me, it's like anybody can do 2 years at this point. Now it's like, can you make it past 2 years and actually want to stay, you know, and they want you to stay. I mean, that's going to be what we're looking for here.
That's probably why it's like, hey, we're going to give you a 3-year contract, because if we give you a 2-year contract, you're not making it past. So we have to give you a 3-year deal. Annie, thanks for joining me. We'll catch up with you down the road, as I'm sure this offseason will be, once again, a Padres crazy, weird, twist and turn type of offseason. So we'll catch up with you later. All right.
Absolutely. Always interesting. That's for sure. Thanks so much, Jim. Talk to you soon.
All right. That's Annie Halburn of the UT joining us here on John and Jim. As I mentioned, if you missed it earlier in the week, Aztec forward Tay Simmons, fantastic interview. You're going to hear that coming up later this hour right here on John and Jim. Stay right here on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. Make sure to catch the Sean Lewis Coaches Show tonight at 6 p.m. John and the coach sit down to talk about tomorrow's game at Hawaii and more. I was going to say John and Rich, but it's just John.
Yeah, I don't think Rich was there this week.
Yeah, John and Coach Lewis will sit down to preview tomorrow night's game against Hawaii and more. The Sean Lewis Coaches Show tonight at 6 p.m. on your home for the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. So we'll hear from Craig Stammen and AJ Preller on Monday morning. It will be the same song and dance that we've heard the last 4 managers that have been at the table with AJ in front of the media. It's a rinse and repeat. Nothing will be new. Like I said, as long as Craig Stammen doesn't say he's managed games in his mind, then I'm not going to destroy him. But if he does say that, then I'm going immediately to DEFCON 1, worst hire in franchise history. This is a joke, not going to work. Same old song and dance. Jace Tingler 2.0, probably worse than Jace Tingler. Fire him tomorrow.
Do you think they'll battle?
Maybe. I can deal with that. I can't deal with introductory press conference of him saying I manage games in my mind. Can't happen. If he says that, yeah. I mean, you're already walking a tightrope here. Fans aren't particularly all in on Craig Stammen. It's not like Craig Stammen's this former beloved Padre.
It's funny you said that. One of my neighbors in my apartment complex is a huge diehard baseball fan. He's likes the Padres and a bunch of other teams. And I passed him last night when I got home, and I was like, "So what do you think about the new manager?" And he just kind of rolls his eyes at me, and he's like, "It just doesn't make any sense." Yeah, he wasn't very happy with it. He kind of was alluding to them just pulling another Tingler situation, like you said. But he said his biggest thing is, I can't look at him and not think that he's just going to come in and blow the game in the 7th inning. I was like, yeah, but you don't have to worry about that because he's not pitching anymore. He's like, yeah, I know, but I still think he is.
I went back and I looked at some of my old tweets back in 2019 through 2022, or maybe a little later than that. And I typed in the keyword Craig Stammen. See how many times I tweeted about Craig Stammen. There were a lot of times I tweeted about Craig Stammen that it ended up not being good things about Craig Stammen. Mainly because, right, every time Craig Stammen came in, it was one of those things where you're like, oh, here we go again.
Well, because those always stand out. You're not going to remember, the hold he had in a random, July game against the Pirates, but you'll remember the, blown save that he had, against the Pirates.
So, yeah, let me look this up right here. So Stammen, type in keyword Stammen from my account, Jim Russell, SD, and then we'll go to years. Okay. Timetable. We'll go 2017 to today. All right. Let's search all the times I talked about Craig Stammen. Oh boy. Apparently I tweeted about Craig Stammen a lot. Let's see here. I tweeted about this. So I said July 29th, 2020.
That's my birthday.
Happy birthday. Where is it? I just had it. Oh, I said, here you go. I said, I'd rather have my best option out there when clearly Stammen didn't have it. And he's on 2 days rest. Wins mean more this year. I'm living and dying with my best guys. Another one here. Maybe Stammen shouldn't be pitching in late game pressure situations ever again. Just a thought. Craig Stammen has an 8.36 ERA. Craig Stammen, Jace Tingler's victory cigar. I said, honest question. What role would Craig Stammen play on this postseason roster? And should he even be on it? Another one. Craig Stammen, LOL. Let's see here. Why? I said, why is Craig Stammen? I said also Eric Hosmer's OPS 669, Craig Stammen's OPS 667, because that's when pitchers actually hit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, look, come Monday, we'll see what he says. Just don't say that I've managed games in my mind, and we'll be fine.
What does he have to say, or what could he say on Monday that would maybe sway some of the haters that, you know, already, even though he hasn't spoken, have viewed him as a puppet and all this other stuff? Is there anything he can say to change their minds, or no?
Well, I would say that if Luis Ariz was still on this team and he came out and he's like, I'm not hitting the Luis Ariz second in the lineup, I think people would be like, yes, love him.
That would do it.
But Ariz won't be on this team, so he can't say that. It's a good question. I don't know. I think people have already just made up their minds, to be honest with you.
So do I.
I don't think there's anything that he could say. There's only things that he can say to make people even more upset. There's nothing I think he can say to make people change from being skeptical and upset about it to like, oh, you know what? Actually, I think this could work. I think it's going to be a copy and paste type of press conference. You're going to hear all the stuff of how the communication and the clubhouse, and he's been with the organization, and it's going to be just the same stuff you've heard over and over and over again. Nothing will be different. Nothing will be new. It's about what the team does on the field, how he does as the manager next year. Nothing he says, I think, is going to sway people's opinions. Maybe it does. I don't know. I got to hear him. But all in all, it's probably going to be kind of a forgettable press conference, to be honest with you. To be like, unless, I don't know, unless AJ's like, you know what, this is my final year. Like, what? But that won't happen.
I'm kind of just curious as to like what his like quote, you know, catchphrases, I'm doing air quotes, are going to be. Kind of, you know, Schulte had the nicknames, and, you know, Tingler was all about battling. And
the one thing I do think, though, is Craig Stammen, even though when I've listened to him speak, he's to me boring. I do think he'll be a better communicator and a better person to actually listen to than Mike Schulte ever was. Like, I don't feel like I'm going to sit here and listen to Craig Stammen and want to bash my head against a wall because I can't stand him speaking like I did with Mike Schulte.
Well, I think too, since he played, he's gonna, you know, like I always bring up that blown game they had last year in Colorado, when it's like the first question, you know, you're going to get it, and it's going to be the first question is, what the hell happened that you guys blew that lead? And then when he gets a question, he throws a fit like, I can't believe you're asking me this question.
Right.
You know,
I don't think he's going to do that.
Well, plus we were just talking about, you know, all the games he blew when he's used to answering questions like this.
He knows the drill.
Yeah, he's it's not his first rodeo.
He's dealt with failure before. Mike Schulte doesn't know how to deal with failure, which, I mean, could be viewed as a good quality because he's always succeeding. But the problem is, it's like, when you deal with failure, how do you handle it to get out better on the other side? Mike Schulte couldn't handle it. It wore him down to the point where he decided he was going to quit. That is a good point, Brent. Craig Stammen has dealt with failure. He knows how to deal with it. So we'll see what he has to say Monday morning when he talks to the media at 10 a.m. at Petco Park. We'll recap that all for you on Monday afternoon. All right, coming up next, I was talking about it, and if you haven't, you need to stick around. Tay Simmons, freshman forward for the Aztecs. We talked to him earlier in the week. You have got to listen to this interview. We'll bring that back for you coming up next on John and Jim, right here on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This support is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. The Aztec football team is on the road tomorrow night when they take on Hawaii. Our pregame coverage with JR and Fletch starts at 6 o'clock. John and Rich will have the kick slightly after 8. The basketball team is back at Viejas on Sunday afternoon when they go up against Idaho State. Pregame will start at 1 o'clock on Sunday, and John will have the tip after 2. Following San Diego State's basketball game on Sunday, you can catch San Diego FC's win or stay home game against Portland. Pre-game coverage starts at 5:30. A few NFL news and notes. Mark Sanchez will not return as a Fox Sports analyst. The former NFL quarterback faces a trial stemming from his alleged attack on a truck driver last month. Fox is set to replace Sanchez with former Super Bowl winning quarterback Drew Brees. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
All right, my back page coming up here in about 15 minutes or so. So Tay Simmons, freshman guard, San Diego State, scored 10 points in his debut game this past Tuesday night at Viejas Arena against Long Beach State. He joined us earlier in the week. Fantastic interview. Trust me, you're going to want to stay tuned for this. Tay Simmons here on San Diego Sports 760. Take a listen.
First of all, I just want to thank you guys for having me today.
Of course.
It's an honor to be on the show. But man, I cannot tell you how much that game meant to me. Like, man, it was awesome because it's like, yeah, those preseason games were really cool and like the crowd definitely showed up. But man, this was a whole different level. And just being out there, you know, having the coaches trust me and LZ to be able to be out there was just honestly such an honor. Like, I remember back like when I was in high school watching everybody play, just like seeing the crowd and be like, man, like that's going to be me someday. And sure enough, it was. And it was just so fun to be out there with my guys, my brothers, and just be able to play like that. And obviously get the W by a very solid amount. So that was just, it was everything, man. I was so happy.
How would you assess your night on the court? 10 points off the bench, had a nice alley-oop dunk there from LZ. How would you assess your opening game here in an Aztec uniform?
Yeah, I mean, in all humbleness, I think I played well, but obviously I think that's a credit to my teammates, you know, finding me when I'm open, and just I think it's a credit to how hard we work. And I think also it's just, man, I just go out there and I play hard. So my mentality is mostly just like, man, even if I go out here and get 0 points, let me just get every rebound I can. So I was more focused on trying to get as many rebounds as I could compared to points. Obviously, you know, points is nice and everything like that, but man, we got so many guys that can score. So I know my role on this team right now is to get rebounds and like not to sell myself short. Like I know I can go out and score, but man, I was like, man, I got to get every rebound out there. And so I just kind of had like a different kind of energy. And man, that adrenaline hit me when I got out there and I was like, man, let's do this. So I think I played well. I'm just really excited and just happy to be here, man. And I just felt like when you just play hard, like the coaches always say, ball finds energy. So my mindset is just have that energy and then I'll find the hoop eventually. I'll find the, you know, ways to score. So yeah.
Freshman forward Tay Simmons with us on John and Jim. Did you hear the note or see the note that you and LZ were the first freshman in an Aztec debut to score 10 or more points since Jeremy Hemsley back in 2015? Is it kind of cool to know that what you were able to do is somewhat unique, right? It can be hard to get on the floor at a place like San Diego State, especially on a veteran team. It must feel good to have such an impact so quickly.
For sure. I mean, I actually had no idea that happened until like one of my friends sent me the stat and sent me the little graphic of it. And I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. But I think it's really just a testament to how hard me and LZ work. Like, I mean, the fact that it hasn't been 10 years, not to say the other freshmen that have been here before weren't good enough, but just to say that like me and LZ, man, like we're really about this. Like this is really what we do. And so we were just going to the game. Let's just play hard. And again, like ball finds energy and good things is going to happen. So it's definitely an honor to be able to have that after 10 years. So it's just something super cool. Definitely not something I thought would happen to me when I first got here, but man, it's a blessing for sure. So all glory to God.
So, you know, we look at the depth of this team. We talked about this a lot here on our show. I'm sure, you know, you guys see it on the court, how much depth you guys have. That mindset that you have here where it's like, hey, look, I might play X amount of minutes one night and X amount of minutes the other night, you know, making sure that your role is to do whatever is best for the team. Well, where does that come from for you?
Honestly, I just think it's just my nature. In all honesty, I feel like I'm a pretty unselfish person. So it's just like, I think I'm pretty understanding of what my situation is. So obviously in high school, my responsibility was more getting as many points as I could and rebounds, because that was my role in high school. And like moving up to this level where, man, we got an extremely deep team where everybody at any given night can go off for 15, 20 points. So I just realized where I'm at right now. And again, not to sell myself short because I know I'm able to go out there and score. But like I said, like the mentality is just, man, like what is going to get me on the court? I just got to keep doing that. And it's really not like a burden for me. As in, like the coach is like, hey, you got to go rebound. I'm like, oh, dang it. Like I got to go rebound. Like I love rebounding. I love the energy of it. So it's like the fact that that's my job and that's what I got to do. It's like, it's just fun for me to be able to go out there and do that. So knowing where I'm at, and I have no problem being out there because I know that time is going to come for me next year in 2-3 years. So that's not something I'm worried about for sure.
Freshman forward Tay Simmons with us on John and Jim. Tay, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it out of a timeout or some type of stoppage that we saw the alley-oop come out of there when LZ found you? What was that? I mean, you executed it perfectly, obviously. What was that experience like being part of that play on night one?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny that you said that because that's exactly what happened. It was off the timeout. I looked at LZ and I was like, dude, it's going to be open. Mm-hmm. And LZ trusted me. He was like, you think it's going to be open? I'm like, bro, like it's going to be open. Because we had ran that play at least 2 or 3 times and that lob just wasn't there. But I told him, I was like, LZ, it's going to be open. He's like, you know what, bro, I got you. I trust you. And sure enough, pass, we a great screen from Pharaoh, and then bam, it was right there. So I just think that was that freshman to freshman connection. And LZ's like, my best friend. That's my brother on the team. We hang out all the time. So we just have that kind of connection where he trusts me and I trust him to get that pass up there. And he trusts me to finish it. So just an overall great play.
What's the biggest thing that drew you to San Diego State?
Easily the energy and just the family aspect of the team. Like, man, like the coaches just show so much love, not just to me, my immediate family, but all my cousins. Like all the coaches on our coaching staff know me. They know my brother. They know my parents. They know my cousins. They know my grandparents. It just extends so far. Like they're a family outside of basketball. And that's something that Coach Dutch drives home all the time, is that his job is to help us succeed outside of basketball. He says that if all I've done is be a coach on the court, then I failed you. And so I just think that was just something that I don't feel like you can really get at very many programs, because I think other programs will say that, but then when it really comes down to it, they're not really about it. But here, man, it's just, that's what we're really about. And honestly, that energy, experiencing it firsthand on the court was completely different. But man, just like being there with all the fans, just showing so much support. Like if it's on the court, off the court, like people seeing me in public, like it's just been like a blessing. And honestly, that's exactly what drew me here. And obviously outside of the, us being really, really good at basketball, right. But I think you can find any program that's quote unquote good at basketball, but they don't have all the other things going to push you like further and grow you as a man. And I think that I'm growing as a basketball player here and also as a man. So for sure, that's what it is. It's
interesting you say that, Tay. I think a lot of people don't fully understand what goes into this. Like you guys have Idaho State coming up on Sunday. You're fully into the season. There's classwork, there's practice, but then I see out in the community with Mesa Foundation and part of this project with Feeding San Diego, where you're helping out in the community on an off day, and there's so few of them. What was that experience like yesterday with Feeding San Diego, getting out in the community?
That was honestly amazing. I'm so happy that we did that. And I think a lot of people will be like, oh, we have an off day, like let's just go chill, like we don't want to do anything. But the guys and the team, we were just so willing to go out and help whoever we can. I'm not like, political. I don't really know what's going on, but I do know obviously the government shutdown has happened, and I know that that's left a lot of people struggling. And so the fact that we were able to make a real impact with what we were doing out there, and just like, it was so awesome just to see the people's face lit up when we were being able to, give out food. I think people can take so much for granted. And so I think Coach JD has done a great job of just showing us that, like, dude, like, people look up to us and people strive to be like us, and us being there with them and, like, truly from our hearts, just, like, giving to people just shows them that, man, they can do anything that they, like, put their minds to. And so the fact that we were able to do that just warms my heart. And I love that that's just something that SDSU cares about. So being there for the community, because it's like at the end of the day, the community has our back, so we have to have their back. So that's the way I see it.
Amazing insight from a freshman forward for the Aztecs, Tay Simmons. All right, Tay, we're going to do something. We didn't mention this to you, but we're going to give away 2 tickets right now on air for Sunday.
No, we're not. We're not. That's what happens when we have a recorded interview. At the end of the interview, we gave away tickets, but that was the other day. We do not have any tickets for Sunday's game at San Diego State versus Idaho State. Sorry.
I think we will have football tickets for sure next week, but I think we also will have some more basketball tickets next week too. So
just a bunch of Aztec tickets here on the home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. So yeah, Tay Simmons there. He was fantastic. Just got an interview right now about it. Just a great interview with Tay. Yeah. The future is obviously feels like it's always bright here at San Diego State. But when you have freshmen that come in an era of the transfer portal, and they can go out and they can recruit still and bring in guys from high school like Tay and like LZ to come here and buy in. I mean, that's just fantastic. Obviously, the retaining part will be tough. It always is, no matter what these kids say out the jump. But if you can retain, you got a pretty good core here for the future. And if LZ and Tay and they remain here at San Diego State, that's the next wave after what you have right now with Magoon and Miles Bird and so forth. Just great times to be an Aztecs fan of this basketball team. All right, coming up next, we'll wrap up the show with my back page. Stay with us right here on John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, back here for a final time for the week on John and Jim. Just a reminder, coming up at 6 p.m., we have the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with John and Coach Lewis. 1 full hour of Aztec football talk, getting you ready for tomorrow night's game in Hawaii as the Aztecs take on the Rainbow Warriors. They're going to be without Tana Latui for the rest of the year. I believe tore his ACL. I don't know if that was officially announced, but he's out with a leg injury for the remainder of the season. So that's going to be something the Aztecs are going to have to overcome as they look to improve their record to 8-1 on the year, because they're 7-1 right now. Jim, duh, you idiot. They've won 6 in a row. Okay, so Brent, let's get to it. All right, what happens first? The sun explodes or GTA 6 gets released?
GTA comes out.
I'll put my money on the sun exploding. So Grand Theft Auto 6, it's like a running joke with gamers now. Like, oh, we've gotten this before GTA 6 or this before GTA 6. Well, today, Rockstar Games announced.
It's yesterday,
excuse me. We didn't have a back page yesterday. That's why.
True.
Rockstar Games announced that GTA 6, Grand Theft Auto 6, has now been delayed once again to November 19th, 2026. So basically a full year from now, when it was supposed to come out this year, and then it was supposed to come out early next year. And now fans are going to have to wait a full year from now. Actually, more than a year, because it's only November 7th. Do you, Brent, think that this will actually be the release date of GTA 6 finally?
Yes. Because I saw yesterday when the news came out, somebody put up when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, the original release date was pretty much the same date as GTA 6's was prior to 2 days ago.
Okay.
And then it got moved to pretty much the exact same date that GTA 6 got moved to. So it's following the same schedule as Red Dead. So I think this will be the last one. And I don't have a problem with it as long as, I'd rather have them, take extra time to put out a good game and polish it, opposed to doing what a lot of developers do these days, where they release a game that, lots of times isn't even finished, to where you'll get a game and it's like 70% finished. And then you got to wait like months for them to put a patch in to put the rest of the game in.
What's your theory on why it keeps getting delayed?
Because it's not perfect enough for them yet. Rockstar has really high standards. Red Dead 2 and GTA 5 and all those all are huge selling games. They all get, extremely high ratings and everything. So I don't think that they're going to want to come out and just release some game that's not done yet and then just ruin their reputation.
Now, for me, I haven't played GTA 5. I haven't played GTA 4. I think the last Grand Theft Auto game I played was either Miami Vice or San Andreas.
Vice City.
Look, all I did for that game, once I found out cheat codes.
I don't even use those anymore.
I would just spawn tanks and I would blow everything up. Like, I got to a point where I just wanted to just create the most havoc possible in those games. The missions were fun, but then I'd be like, well, I could just spawn a bazooka right now and I can go up to somebody in the street and I can just blow them up. Like, that's what I would do. I would create the most havoc. Give me 5-star felony count. Like, it would just be chaos.
Well, that's the,
great. I got bored and I stopped playing.
Well, that's a great thing about like those sandbox type games is you can pretty much just do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
Because like I remember when people would be like, oh my God, you let your 10-year-old play Grand Theft. It's like they do whatever they want with it. My old roommate, she used to have her little nephew would come over and he was like 8. He would play GTA 5, but all he would do is just drive cars around. He wouldn't shoot anybody. He would like obey traffic laws and stuff. It was funny. He would stop at like every red light and he wouldn't break any laws and stuff like that. So you can do whatever you want to, if you want to go through and, go on the crime spree of the decade, you can. If you just want to race cars and, do stuff like that, you can do that. You can do whatever you want to.
All right, moving along here. So these are two stories kind of into one, but I do like Legos. Like, okay. I'm a 36-year-old man, but if you gave me a Lego, I'd be happy. Like, I don't go out and buy Legos anymore.
Legos are expensive.
They are expensive. I used to when I was single, before like I actually started like having
before you had a girl in the house to shame you for buying Legos.
Like long-term relationships. I would have like my bookshelf with all my Legos on it, right? So Lego ideas, they have this every year. They present these Lego ideas that either get greenlit to be released to the public or they get scrapped. So there are two Lego ideas that officially got approval in the last couple weeks to be released in 2026, and I might have to get back into Legos because of these. First up, the Megazord from Power Rangers.
I almost sent that to you.
So Lego Ideas has officially approved a Power Rangers Megazord project to become an official Lego set. Oh, yeah, sign me up. It is expected for official release in late 2026 or early 2027. And finally, Lego Ideas has greenlit the USS Enterprise from Star Trek. It officially will be released on November 28, 2026. It's 3,600 pieces, and it'll be retailed for $399. And
I guess it's huge,
massive, and the saucer comes off, right? Yeah. Just like the show, it comes with all the characters in Lego set.
Well, that goes along with a couple weeks ago. They're also doing I don't know if you're a Goonies person, but they're doing a Goonies, the pirate ship from Goonies too. But that was like $700.
Wait, this is being released this year. Just kidding. It's set to release this year on Black Friday. Oh my God. Well, I know what I want for Christmas now, Aaron. The USS freaking Enterprise. All right, that'll do it for John and Jim today. Thanks to Annie. Thanks to Greg Camarillo. Thanks to Brent. Thanks to you all out there for watching and listening. Coming up next, the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with John and Coach Lewis, getting you ready for tomorrow night's game. Stay with us right here on San Diego Sports 760. Have a great rest of your night, everybody.